very important subject matter. So for me, the magic number is 85.
85.
It's the
Yeah.
magic number because here's the thing. Now, I will not devour a whole of these in one day. I did that once. I will never do that again. This hits your head and like, oh my god, like so many ways. Like the next day if you do that. One piece at a time though is actually really great. You can do a lot of cool things with like even medicinally with chocolate, dark chocolate especially.
Sure.
But about 90% your ability to like you literally could only have a piece. If you want to do anything more than that, you're asking for nothing but trouble. Right?
Well, if you alternate it with the teas, you've got like 3 pieces.
Yeah.
Like you take a bite and then you sip some tea and then you just let the 2 interact, right?
Yeah,
You can go 3 pieces.
but 90% kind of gets like there's a less is more I think variety at like 90%. Not 70%. Like totally agree. 80% totally agree. 90, my head and me have a conversation the next day. It's like, why did you do that, Josh? And I go to my head, you know what? Looking back, it just seemed like a good idea at the time. And they're
I'm
like,
not
right?
sorry. Not
Right?
sorry. I say 90% when other people ask me. I eat 70% in private, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm from Olympia, Tacoma area. We're tea and chocolate snobs.
That's
And so, yeah.
Oh, I have a place. Like for chocolate. I have a really good like. It'll literally be like the best chocolate you've ever had. I showed Christine Z this place. She's like, I might have a problem. It's like, yeah, I know. I might become your dealer by accident here, because it's based out of Calgary. It's amazing. Like honestly, people talk about cannabis. I'm not saying cannabis can't do a job, but I really think chocolate is really good. Is a good therapy tool too in like coping with stress and stuff like that. It's one of the best like things everybody has access to. And by the way, just note to the audience, I am not referring to milk chocolate at all. Right now, you might like milk chocolate, and I will not judge you. I like milk chocolate and biscuits too. And my compromise is Hershey's actually makes a really fun like special dark chocolate. It's kind of like a milk chocolate. It's a fun one once in a while. Yeah, but the best one, the absolute best one, is there's a place it's literally called Chocolate. You can actually see it in Calgary. It is the best chocolate I've ever had. One of my ex-girlfriends used to work there, so she's like, I'm really particular about my chocolate. It's like, but I thought so. I was like, no, and she educated me. She's like, she's right. Like she was right. Like she was 100% right. It's like there's chocolate, and then there's that place, and then you just don't look at chocolate the same way ever again. And you're like,
no, absolutely not.
Yeah,
it's knowledge is a double-edged sword, right? And so once you know how good chocolate can be, you can't go back.
It's true with anything. Like the rare, like one of the best, rarest, most wonderful things I used to eat, Arabic pomegranates. They legitimately have golden seeds on the inside.
Get out!
No, it's true. It's true.
I gotta look this up.
Yeah, they're beautiful, and it's an amazing taste. But once you have them, yeah, they have golden seeds. They legitimately have golden seeds, and it's like one of those like really cool. She's like, I don't believe you. It can't be that wonderful. Yeah, it really can be. It's just right.
It's not coming up on the Google machine, so maybe you're talking about something else.
No,
maybe I'm looking up something else.
No, I'm telling you the truth. Like whether you believe me or not, that's I shrug, right? I shrug. I it's one of those things where you look at there's all kinds of cool little treasures in the world. There really, really is. Most of us never think to look. That's the one thing about in this life is better really out there? Yes, there is. Yes, it is. But do you want to look? Are you serious about this? Or are you just, it's hard, but sometimes it's right under your nose too. A really good example. Calgary, Alberta, same city. There was a cool little another Arabic place. they sold dates. Like they actually sold like fresh dates.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right. Fresh ones from across the pond. Those were good.
Yeah.
You don't buy
Creamy.
Yeah, they're creamy. They're sweet.
Yeah.
They're amazing. And they were literally, and it's literally right in Calgary. It's off of Center Street. It's across the street from those Tim Hortons off 16th Avenue. You literally go across the street. It's right there. You wouldn't know it. That place.
It's buried treasure.
Well, no, we live in a world of buried treasure. And that's the one thing I think the one of the most amazing things about the world we live in is we have a very much a buried treasure like kind of the world has a very, very much you get what you look for in anything in life. Doesn't matter if it's like career, relationship, any of those things. You get what you look for. And I'm going like I just got myself at least we're gonna say for the time being a full-time job, just get my income back up and running so I can do the next things I really want to do with my writing goals.
Right.
And I kept in one of the things I kept in mind was how hard I looked for this job here to get this done. Because now that I have it, I am focusing my attention on working just as hard on freelancing stuff going forward, because that's the thing. Like job hunting is the same whether you're freelancing or whether you're looking for a regular job.
Right.
You're looking for work. You have to put yourself out there to look for work. So and I made this decision, but with the reminder now that okay, you did what you had to do here, kind of, sort of. That's wonderful. Hold on a second here. I'm actually doing this so I can actually pay attention to comments on Facebook, because Facebook has this tendency to be evil and stuff with me not seeing comments on Facebook.
I'm gonna start following when we talk.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna start screen sharing.
Yeah. So, but the thing about that is like I'm reminded of this. Ooh, hey, we're gonna do this here. Ready?
Oh yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Back. It's back, ladies and gentlemen. We are showing some live, and this is what's going to be for the rest of the evening because Shani's awesome. She's really good at what she does.
Thank you. I hope you all enjoy the show.
I think you just come back here because I'm really good at giving compliments. I'm pretty sure that's my superpower here.
Well, you run the show, right? I don't want to have to take that responsibility of having to run a show all the time. And this is a great platform for me to just draw and chat. So yeah, you do all the hard work and I do the fun stuff.
Well, I do all the fun stuff too. I get to it's actually, like I said, I honestly have said this to many people. I'm always genuinely surprised. I'm always genuinely surprised with the fact that people actually want to come on my show. It's always, I never take it for granted. I know, I mean this in like a humbling, why me? No. It's just, it's building the cred to actually get people to come on the show and want to actually, I mean, this is your second time here, so I must have done a really good job that first time. So
I enjoyed it. And, when I think back I was inspired by artists a lot of my life. I like to watch them do live streaming. And so this definitely feels like I am achieving a childhood goal if I could draw and have people watch and have them like make an event out of it, make it a fun time for them, right? So you're helping me achieve this goal. And of course you're good at what you do, right? You're a good conversationalist. So it makes sense to come back.
Yeah. So what is the coolest buried treasure you've discovered in life so far?
Oh my God.
I know.
Oh my God, dude.
I don't ask easy questions when I do ask them. If you haven't noticed.
Geez, you could have sent this over to me beforehand.
Wow.
I think one of the coolest things about the life that I've experienced is shared housing, right? I'm a traveling farmer. And so if I can go on to communes or something, not the communes that most people think of, but people who come from different walks of life, who have their own businesses, and we all agree that we want to be closer to the land, right?
Yeah.
So we were talking about chocolates a little bit ago, and I used to live on this commune that one of the people there made chocolates. They're chocolatier.
Nice.
So like they had an espresso machine and they had homemade chocolates all the time. They had like mushroom truffle chocolates. And living with cheesemakers,
Oh God.
right? I
Now I'm
could
just
be
now I'm
broken
getting
as
jealous.
hell. And I'm getting the finest food out there.
Yes. Oh God. So going back into a city, going to a restaurant must be hell for you.
I don't eat fast food, no. Not at all.
Okay. I try to avoid it because it's one of those things. But sometimes you have like if you're traveling a lot. Although this is an unusual thing for this time because we haven't done a lot of traveling.
Right.
Although from what it looks like in the States, probably by July or August, people will be moving again in various forms or fashions.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looks like down there anyway. Here, not so much because we're insane. But that's another conversation for another. That's another conversation for another day. I you know. It's sad when your faith in your leadership is rewarded. Unfortunately, it's like especially with my it's my kind of faith in it. But sad when you're like you called it almost to a T. But you guys look like you're going to be up and running again. So yeah, I mean, but you notice when you travel and you're on the interstate sometimes, and you got to get some food somewhere somehow. Sometimes all you got is that trucks. Like you guys have cool truck stops. That's one thing I will say. That's another like cool little trip in the United States. There's some amazing like restaurants on the road, but every once in a while, all you got is McDonald's. Like,
dude, I arrange my travels in such a way that I'm not going to be stuck in a McDonald's because like there are certain things that I just cannot let my morals cross into, right? And
yes.
McDonald's is one of them.
Okay. So
I did farming and like ethical farming, and if we're talking about eating meat, I eat meat, but I've also slaughtered the meat that I eat, right? And so knowing what goes in, how the sausage is made, it's a double-edged sword of knowledge thing. I can't unsee it. I can't taste it. I can't do it. I will drive and keep on driving past that McDonald's.
Yeah, no, I kind of understand your pain because I worked at a poultry place for 2 months. Now I was terrible at it. Like I'm not gonna lie, I was bad at the job. Job was just generally bad. Period. Too. It's just it was not a good place to work.
Yeah, right.
Good people, just not a good place. And I got to see how the sausage was made. I will never eat turkey. I never will again.
During Thanksgiving, but you're in Canada, so I don't know if you have Thanksgiving.
We do in October.
Oh, how about that? Huh.
Yeah, but we also I was there for the Easter rush.
Oh yeah, the force feeding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, you don't. You really don't want to. Like when you see what you have to. And again, myself, I literally like busted a knuckle, cutting turkeys in like literally half because that's what I did for one of the days I was there. I bone cuts. Most people don't realize how much bone can cut until you actually have to do it.
Yeah, right? It's a thing. It's a whole process.
Yeah,
the evisceration, all of that.
Yeah, no, it's a big process. But once you see it in action, once you kind of see how it works, it makes you reevaluate. It makes you reevaluate your place in life in terms of, do I really want to eat from these particular places anymore? And I'm never gonna announce the nutritional value of hot dogs, but sometimes you go into some of these places. And she's laughing because she knows it's true.
It's true.
Because it's true. So true.
Well, I used to teach at the college farm, and one of the things that we would teach is how to slaughter an animal, right? And I remember my second year doing this after I had learned, right? I tell the students, okay, well, what you don't want to do is fucking cut your I'm sorry if I'm cussing and you're not supposed to.
No, just do it right. Don't worry about it.
You don't want to cut your skin with the same knife that you use to kill the animal, right? You don't want that blood transfer. And so I'm showing them how to do it. And the first time I go in to cut in front of them, I chicken and onto my palm, right in front of all of them. And it was the exact worst timing to show them how it's done. I just walked away, pretended like I didn't just cut my palm with the chicken knife. Nope, nothing to see here, buds.
No, not at all.
Absolutely.
No. So for me, it was on the line. And so this is the best part. They gave me a knife that they without actually giving me a way to sharpen it.
Yeah.
So for an hour, it's okay, right?
Yeah, right.
And then the second hour, you're like, this knife. It's like, why didn't they just give me a like at the very least give me some way to sharpen it? So you end up becoming doing more drastic things as a result of it, and it's like, oh my god, it's like
this is hell.
And then when at the break, I looked at my knuckle. And my knuckle, I literally had punctured it. It's like because I hit the bone. I hit the bone, right? You hit bones doing it, right? It adds up. Like I probably cut a few hundred in that day, just nonstop. And by the end of it, it was like, oh my gosh, right? And
yeah.
Again, automation, folks. Not always. It's all cracked up to be, right?
Well, as a farmer, right? And if you want to eat meat. We here in the U.S., if we're getting into food politics really quickly, we don't spend the amount of money that we should, that the world does, proportionally our annual income on food, right? We pay very little for our food. And so when we're presented with quality food that is actually, proportionally costly, right? But it looks expensive, we shy away. I want to encourage any listener that if they're presented with quality food, they can support ethical animal slaughtering by going to their local farmer who they trust the practices with and just forking over the money and being like, you know what? I support how you're treating these animals. I want to keep eating meat. Could you keep doing this? I will pay you to do this, right? Don't be stingy with your food money, people. That's all I'm saying.
Farmers are critically underfunded in North America. Period. They really, really are. It's one of the worst things about the food industry, and we won't go in that really deep because that is a giant rabbit hole.
Absolutely.
Fair warning, guys. If you ever decide to look up how the sausage is really made, and I'm going to warn, and I say this literally in sense like what she's talking about. It's gruesome, but it's not all bad, that part of it. But the politics, however, there is nothing nice about the politics of it. And
it gets messy really quickly.
Yeah, it really, really does. So look at your own risk, because it will definitely it will shake you, because it's not what you think. And it doesn't matter which end of the food spectrum you go either too. There's even with some of the non-meat slaughtering aspects of it, there's some really gross things. It's a fair warning. If you look at your own risk, you won't like what you see. You won't.
We say this because we care.
Yeah, we do. We do. I do care. That's why I went and I found out. And once like something you're saying, like once you see, you can't unsee.
Sorry, did you hear that?
I heard it. Yeah.
1 second.
No worries. I gotta go grab my book anyway, because it seems like I forgot it in my room.
I will be right back just to check on that.
We'll be right back, folks. For both of us. So, guys, you guys are watching and listening. It's Miss Marvel, Squirrel Girl, Spider Gwen, Rogue, Jean Grey. Do any of you guys have a preference for what I'm actually doing? And I am going to look at my phone, because my phone will probably be more accurate on Facebook comments. Let's take a quick look. While I'm doing that, I got that. So I got comments. I will be able to look at comments on both Facebook and Twitch tonight. But I think I'm going to start. With Spider Gwen. Because Spider Gwen was surprisingly fun. I will try that one. Spider Gwen, radioactive Spider Gwen. I know I'm singing, folks. I'll stop eventually. Maybe. But figuring out stuff as I go here. I hope Shani's okay. I hope so, anyway. So I guess I'll say this while we're waiting for her to come back. The Auroras are closing nominations tonight. I have 3 things currently that you can vote, you can nominate me for. That is my podcast, Just Joshing, which is now a live show. 2, I have Atlas Zero, my epic poetry I released last week, written by myself, illustrated by Kenzie Carr. And 3, The Cloud Diary, my first novel, written by myself, illustrated by Lance Vaughn. And they're all available at the Auroras. You can then vote tonight. I have a little blog. You can talk about all those things and where you can vote and stuff like as well. I called it Shameless Self-Promotion. And,
is that what I walked in on?
Yeah, I might as well. I have to fill time somehow, some way. But actually,
sorry about that, everybody.
No, it's okay. It's all good. I'm not like it's life, right? But I did a hold on a second here. I'm just going to click a link and put a link in the description because the Auroras are closing tonight, and hold on a second here. Just gonna use the site. So there you go. Oh, you lousy thing. You cheater that cheats. So yeah. Restream goes, you must log in right now. But I just put it in as you can see. I actually talked about promotion today as part of the so the Auroras, which is the Canadian Association of Science Fiction and Fantasy. They're the ones. Oh, you're back. I gotta put you back on now that you're back and alive and kicking. Hey, the Auroras are due tonight for nominations, and I actually have 3 things that can be nominated for an award this year, which is kind of cool.
Oh, congratulations!
That can be. I actually have been nominated for an award, but I can't really say it too much more than that already this year. So
don't want to let the air out of that bag.
Well, it's not that I'm not sure if I'm fully allowed to. Voting hasn't begun for that, so it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, hey, you know what? But I gotta tell you, when you're nominated for awards, it's really cool getting those. How do I put this? It's always cool when you get an email and say, hey, by the way, your work nominated for an award. It's a really cool feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. How about that confidence booster? I got an award in 5th grade. You know, when they do the class voting thing.
Oh,
my
cool.
award was I was voted most sarcastic. I still have it. Seriously though.
Yeah, I can believe it. I could definitely see you being a smartass.
Oh, stop! Now you're flattering me.
Well, hey, they know what to say. The battery gets you everywhere, right? So might as well be honest, right? I could totally see it. I mean, I'm certainly not above being a dick myself every once in a while. It's kind of one of those things where you just look at it and go, it's there. You might as well just take advantage of the what of the possibilities of what's being presented there.
Absolutely, the opportunity to be better than who you were before as a smartass.
That's right.
I'm reaching for the stars.
Well, or I guess if you want to say that. I mean, I don't know if that's reaching for the stars or you're just being a dick. But I mean, it's a matter of perspective.
Thanks.
That's a matter of perspective, I guess.
I got an award for it. All right, I was obviously reaching for the stars.
Well,
you don't.
Or the lowest common denominator. One or the other. I'm not judging, by the way. I'm certainly not. I certainly don't know what I'm.
I think we were going to talk a little bit about Facebook ads.
We are, because you said you figured stuff out, and that's cool because I figured nothing out. So, well, actually, so what I figured out, like for a guy like me, that's looking at like a book, it's looking at marketing services, right? Now, because I mentioned this a little bit earlier. I'm doing a full-time job, at least for a little while I retool and get myself acclimated to what's coming next, whatever that next is. And actually, I already know what next is. But one of my challenges is scale. And I look at Facebook. On one hand, I have a great social platform on Facebook. I almost have 2,000 people that are following. Yeah, I have 3,800 people on Twitter. So Twitter makes a lot more, or 3,500, or something around 3,500 people on Twitter. I have 1,000 people on LinkedIn, which that has gone up incredibly quickly, and I have about 600 people on Instagram, which is also kind of cool. So I don't have necessarily the biggest audience, but I don't have a small one either.
Right.
Right. So,
and it's growing the more that you commit to this.
Yes, exactly, and that's kind of the thing. Like I'm looking at it from the point of view that that this is I need to grow in this, and I need to keep growing in this, right? And, okay, that's interesting how they did that. Anyways, I'll show you my spider Gwen in a little bit. But I look at Facebook and I look at it and I see it as almost a trying to build a house on quicksand, because it constantly is changing. Now, again, this isn't in the case of even algorithms changing. This isn't just algorithms, right? You can honestly tell that they are constantly tampering with what the program does, says, that sort of deal, right? So I look at it, it's like, from an getting started point of view, I'm not sure if Facebook is the way to go for me. I look at something like Amazon ads. Now, Amazon ads have their own issues, don't get me wrong, and I'm aware of them. But that seems like a fairer game. Now, again, I could totally be wrong, and I could totally be smoking something. It's entirely a possibility, and I'm fully admitting, because I don't have entirely the clearest answers here. But from what I've seen, right? From what I've seen, it seems to me that Facebook has this very strange game that doesn't seem to have a consistent. It's not consistent in terms of how the game is played. I could be wrong, and maybe I am wrong. And if so, I can totally be enlightened. Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, Facebook ads, right there, that is how Facebook makes its money. Every third post that you see is an ad, right? So they have to get their product right for them to earn their money. You can pay them by audience reach, you can pay them by impressions, which is basically how effective your ad is at getting a click through into your sales page. And whichever one you do, right, that's telling them that they need to be good at reaching a certain kind of audience. So it is up to you to, or whoever, to have a sellable product and good copy that gets the kind of attention that you want, and to know who your audience is because you can input the demographic and psychographics, and to know what your audience size is. And there are magic numbers, there are magic ways around here that you can really narrow in to find that the sales volume that you're looking for. It's kind of hard to talk about this brainy stuff and draw, so I hope you don't mind looking at this while I chat. So I took my business course. I've taken a few business courses, and one of the recent ones that I did online, they talked about Facebook ads, the approach to it as like a 4x4 method, right? So you have one Facebook campaign, but then you have 4 different copies in that campaign, and the copy is just a sales letter for anybody who doesn't know. And then you have 4 different images, and you put one image to one copy, that same image to a different copy, that same image to the third copy, and so on. And by the end of it, you have 16 different ads, and you're targeting the same audience at about 500,000 people, right? That's usually the magic number to find your sales volume. And you're testing 16 different ads on that same audience. And in that way, you're figuring out which ad works best at a fraction of the cost. Because a lot of times when people don't have the best of luck with ads, it's because they're only testing like 1 or 2. And of course, it's going to take you forever to find the one that works. So test 16. And this is like the perfect square method or something.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. And as for the shifting sands, yeah, that's true. But I think if you have something that people want and you're good at ad copy and you present it in a certain way and it's a scalable offer, like courses are a really scalable offer, it shouldn't really matter how much Facebook changes or any platform changes, because you have something that people want and people like you. You have like 5,000 followers right now, so I'm saying 500,000 in the whole country, right? But a portion of that size doesn't even need to be from paid Facebook advertising, because what you're doing is organic audience outreach. You're building your audience.
Absolutely.
And so you can, if you have like a subscription list, that's your immediate marketing platform.
Absolutely. No, that's the plan. Like that was why, like for me, like Patreon is such an ideal spot. But for whatever reason, Patreon hasn't been the way this has worked. It just hasn't worked out. Maybe, and partly to me, because I haven't been as faithful on that as I should be. But also just one of those things where I just realized that maybe it just wasn't. It's not the right time yet. Sometimes things just don't hit the right place at the right time either. But for me, that's why like Twitch has been successful. I've been growing my audience there bit by bit by bit. I've hit the follower count now to be actually an affiliate.
Oh, so yeah.
I'm there. But now I got to get people to watch the show when it's live more, like on Twitch. Because at that point, like when I get to that point, when I get to that average, when it's live, and that number is not like that out of reach. But it's just like I said, I'm just going to keep getting more followers. I'm going to get people to keep coming on the show. And as that keeps happening more and more and more and more, like it's going to grow. And then eventually, Amazon's going to give me a contract going, hey, you produce content. And I'm like, yes, yes, I do. That seems to be working out well for me because it's something I naturally, as you say, I have an incredibly good big mouth and I'm good at this conversation thing. So it's one of those things where I like that's my strength, and I think that's a big thing too, is recognizing what you do. Now, there are other ways to make money with it. Like one of the things that I kicked myself for, it's like it's that easy. Why didn't I think of this? But the fact is, like I've been taking my content like I've created on these podcasts, and I've been writing articles about them and selling them because it works.
Where are you selling the articles at?
Writers Weekly, Anime Herald. I'm at teachers, writers, websites too, because a lot of my guests are teachers.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, most creative writers, a lot of creative writers are teachers.
Absolutely.
Right. So, it's one of those things where, again, knowing as we mentioned this last time we were here, It's identifying your niches.
Mm-hmm.
And if you sit there and think about what my show is really, yeah, we're having conversations, but we're also like, there's some very valuable like freelancing, writing lessons in all my shows, all of them. So if I focus on that,
Yeah.
on those lessons, I have product. And again, I've been publishing Writers Weekly. I'm looking at like video game stuff. I mean, and the experiences I have, like I've worked with, I can work with a variety of talent because I've interviewed. I've done nothing but interview a variety of talent now for years. I know how to work with people. I've been in projects where I've collaborated. Like my qualifications just based on what I've done with this podcast are actually quite like ginormous in terms of what I can do.
Yeah, if you were to put it on a resume or something, it would be super impressive.
Yes, I actually have. It's its own separate resume because I know that if I were to like do this any other way, I have to figure that out. I guess still got work to do on that, but color will help with that, I think.
Are you doing something? I'm not seeing it.
No, I'm drawing my piece, and I still can't wait to actually buy colored stuff this month. I still can't wait. Little things to invest in, right? But yeah, like you if you look at what you do, and everybody can do this. If you look at what you do, and what you just for fun, like what it actually takes to do what you do, you will find that by and large, you are far more qualified than you realize for a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It just, you may not have the piece of paper, but arguably you got something better. You have the actual experience of doing it.
Yeah, when I was trying to figure out like what am I going to do as a freelancer, what am I going to build my self-sustaining career on, it was the first thing that the business instructor said was like, what do you do? What do you take for granted that you do so well that if somebody were to be like, could you do this for me? You would be like, this is so easy. Why can't you do this yourself? Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that you can scale and help people do without it taking too much time on your part because it's just so automatic for you. You take it for granted, right?
Well,
and that can be said about a lot of our expertise. A lot of us are experts and don't even realize it.
Oh, sure. It's the truth. It's the absolute truth. Like most of us are qualified for, like, okay, I offer podcast services. Again, hardcore advertising. Like a friend of mine goes, you should do a course. Course is nice and all that stuff. But honestly, I'd rather help you produce a show, help show you kind of what your show should do, shouldn't do, build your formula, let you go out to the races, right? That's what I could do that. I could be interviewing people for companies. I think I'd be very good at that. I can look at somebody and I can assess everyone's strengths and weaknesses, where you're comfortable, where you're not comfortable, right? And I can get a good sense of the kind of person you are too. So if you're looking for like culture, I can help build culture. You know,
mm-hmm.
Right? I think and these are things I know I can do, right? Without really trying that hard. If that makes sense.
It does. It's the stuff that it's a benefit that comes from what you already do, right? The trick is telling people how what you do benefits them when you're trying to market something, right? And that's, I think, where people stumble so hard when they get into the freelancing game. It's like, yeah, I can do this, but how do I turn this into how it benefits the other person? What kind of words do I use for that? And so just kind of learning what that vocabulary is. You know, what are you actually doing? You're saying you're creating culture, right? That is team building. That's powerful when you're talking to a company.
Yeah, there's that, but I mean, and as for what I'm selling, it would be it's the convenient. I'm taking away no one wants to interview candidates for jobs. It's the worst. It's a nightmare because it's like I gotta read these resumes. and I gotta pick the most qualified person. And You know, it's like, oh God, what am I going to ask these people? And these resumes all bleed after a while. They just bleed.
They ooze into the same thing.
Right? I'm just gonna put them on this dartboard, and whichever one I hit, I'm gonna contact.
We're gonna play eeny meeny here. Good
Yeah.
luck.
Yeah, and then you interview the person. Oh my God, they're so full of shit. You're laughing because you know it's so true.
Well, that's a whole different conversation. Go on.
Okay. Right. Well, no, it's just one of the. Well, again, not. Let me phrase this. Like, a lot of people are not honest about what they will and won't do. Right. When they get a job, right? What they're comfortable doing, what they're not comfortable doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this because I've been on both ends of that. I have asked people. I have hired people. I'm willing to do this. Is this good? Yes. Okay. And then we get to it. It's like, well, no, actually, I was wondering if we can do this. That's not what we agreed to, right?
Right.
Why didn't you tell me this during the process? But then you wouldn't have hired me.
Yeah, right.
Right? And then you're like, well, maybe not. But now, like, I wouldn't have accidentally wasted my time and your time, because now I have to let you go and I have to do this all over again, right? On the flip side, you're just like people are hungering for an opportunity, and that can compensate for a lot, even for a lack of skill. And sometimes it's, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna look for someone to do a job for you, right? Attitude is actually a good chunk of it. You do need expertise. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to undersell that, but attitude can overcome a lot, right? On its own, right? And especially if there is a willingness to learn, right? Now, it's also the question of where you're at as a company too. Do you have the patience to train somebody, right? Can you do that? That's also another big question as well. And expertise becomes more and more important, obviously, as you answer those questions honestly. But basically, the service I would offer is basically, I would help you save time
and find the right people.
Exactly.
And like Indeed could do that, but what you're missing is that conversation piece.
Yeah.
That X-ray, that bullshit detector,
Yeah. That's it, right? I don't want to hear, like, the last thing. I mean, companies want to hear that you're willing to do the job, yes, but they don't necessarily want yes men. They want people, right? And even if there's some things you're not comfortable with, is that a deal breaker, right? It's not always a deal breaker. I did an interview in Windsor with a company here, and about 2 minutes in, the guy interviewing me starts breaking down and laughing. And I didn't say anything like funny. He just started breaking down and laughing. And I go, okay, what's up? It's like, dude, like, this is so refreshing. No bullshit. No bullshit. Like, no bullshit. Like, he literally he broke down and he chuckled the whole, like.
Where have you been all my life?
What?
Where have you been all my life?
Yeah, kind of, right? Right? And again, it's a tough thing, because, again, it's not smart to necessarily give everybody your life story, but at the same time, you have to be honest about what you do and won't do, because the last thing you want to do is waste your time and somebody else's. Because the moment it's found out that you're not going to do a job, the company might just get rid of you right then and there. It just saves, right? On the flip side, you want to get the best opportunity possible, and honestly, that's a good thing, right?
Did you get that job?
I did not. And I'll tell you why I didn't get the job. I already know why I didn't get the job, because they wanted to do a 6-month probation. They asked me if I would be comfortable with the wage. I said, for the 6 months I'm on probation, yes. But after the 6 months, no. You'd have to raise it.
And then they were like, okay, can't do it. We need people who will work for peanuts.
That's right. And but that's just the way it is. Like, I recognize what a day job actually is giving is security, right? That's the ultimate selling point That's the ultimate selling point to a job. That's it. It's the security of a constant paycheck.
Right.
If you don't have that security, that job is a lot less valuable. So,
and when they're when they need, right, that security is kind of overshadowed.
yes.
Because then you're just playing that rat race, and it's not like you'll actually improve if you're stuck on it.
Well, it comes to this, and this is something I think a lot of companies have to look at. If I'm flipping burgers for just slightly less money than what you're offering me here, it's easier to flip the burger. Because and this is just reality, right? I'm not going to go above and beyond a certain call of duty for a wage, for a number on a wage. The wage
right.
has to justify my expenses. If it does not, because yeah, I have my own side hustles, but they're for me. If I'm not doing it for me, it's crazy to want to work 40, 50, 60 hours for something. That's nuts, right? But that's, I mean, and that's the thing, right? So companies have to look at, like, what are they actually honestly offering? And when people going for jobs have to be honest with what they do, what they will do, and what they won't do, right? And that's just an honest assessment of the situation. It's not like I'm saying, hey, I'm better, I'm that much better. No, it's about, you gotta look and be honest about what you're willing to live with. And you have to accept the fact that a lot of the crummy jobs, if you want something good, you're not going to qualify for a lot of crummy jobs. It's just not going to happen, right? On the flip side, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side, you're narrowing it down, right? And that's a good thing. You're narrowing it down, and everybody has to. That's life.
Yeah, so long as you don't settle, you'll find what you're looking for. And of course, it's a privilege to say that. It's not like what we talked about last time. I don't have a kid waiting for me. I don't have a mortgage. I don't got any of that. So it's a privilege for me to say, no, I'm going to find something. I'm going to keep looking until I find that perfect fit. I'm going to design my life how I want, right? It's so easy to just fall into a circumstance that you are ultimately not happy with.
Yeah.
So the real challenge here, when we're talking about what benefits do you offer your particular clientele, what we're actually saying is, what kind of life do you want to live? How are you designing your life? You want to be intentional about it. And that's not an easy ask. That is something to think about. You're not just going to wake up one day and say, oh, I want to do portraits because I want to be a traveling farmer, right? That's not how I woke up to do it. It was calculated. It was, if I could get a certain amount of people to do this thing that I could do really easily in this amount of time, then it leaves me a chunk of my life to go do something else that I enjoy, right? So it's choosing what you do by design, not by accident.
Well, I said this last time we talked too. People do exactly what they want to do. And some people will scoff at that, but no, it's the absolute truth. People do, right? I'm going back and I'm working, at least in the interim, but I already know, like, I'm on borrowed time. Like, it's there to help me reinvest in some things I need to reinvest in. But that's it. Because I know inevitably I'm not gonna last. It's not because I'm a terrible person, but I'm not. I don't think like an employee anymore, and I'm well aware that I probably never will again.
Right.
So. Right. And so that means that I can work for people. I'm not saying I'm unemployable, but it does mean that if I'm going to work for somebody, there are things that are going to be required for me to do it.
Yeah, make it worth me choosing this over the life that I'm designing.
Yeah. And that's just the way it is. Now again, that's a luxury for some people too, and I get that. But I think even when you do have kids in the family, because I've seen this with people that are pursuing this, right? There's a point, like, okay, yeah, you gotta make sure your kids provided for. I mean, you brought them into this world. You gotta make sure they're taken care of. But at the same time, if you tell them that, okay, if you accept this forever, what message are you giving the kid too, right? So it's a tricky thing. It's a very, very tricky thing.
Yeah, it's a balance.
Yeah, exactly. So
I
so
was, yeah, go for it.
so like basically, so even with all that, yeah, it's not about you anymore to the same degree, for sure. But even then, you're still ultimately going to end up doing what you want to do, right? So choose wisely because you are doing what you want, right? And like I said, I'm at that point where I'm going to be transitioning back and forth for a little bit. But even in transitioning, all I'm doing is reinvesting in myself over and over and over again until I get to where I want to go.
Right, whatever it takes, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. All right, I'm done. No,
You're showing a picture or you're done?
no, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with my piece.
What's it? I was thinking about what you were saying earlier with you know, Patreon and whatnot, and how you offer all this IP through these conversations, and now you're kind of exporting it into another format through these articles. And it's like, I don't know how far down the rabbit hole of Patreon you've gone, but you can offer topic exclusives in a live stream. Like what we're doing right now, this drink and draw. If you're
Yeah.
bringing in these high, like, you know, the big fishes of artists or whoever onto your Patreon and you live stream it, that's a perk. You know, people can pay to show up. And I'm not sure if you're at that stage yet, but that's just like it doesn't it's not a big ask to have your followers pay $5 a month to view certain live streams with certain designed topics. Like we're going to talk about this and you're going to get this benefit from it. You can submit questions and we will answer them, right? Because
Oh
once
yeah.
people start paying, they're going to start showing up because they put the value into it. So they've
Oh
said, your live stream is worth this. I'm going to be there. You better put it on.
yeah. No, I'm. That's a little tricky, but not like I know I've thought about a lot of these different things. And like there's my writing stuff, there's my art stuff, there's like I looked at what I'm offering and things of that nature. And so it all for me comes back full circle to scale.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's my choke point right now. Because I have a lot of people I remember I had one person go to me, you should reopen your Patreon. Like, okay, I'll give it another go. I'll give it another go and see what happens. And I mean, I have a Patreon, but I mean, at the same token, it's like, okay, I gotta figure out how to really, really take the time and work on it, and do it properly to really, really, really do it. And that's some of it is a time thing.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it is, and I'm aware of that. Some of it too is I'm more focused on Twitch right now than I am Patreon, and that's
Mm-hmm.
because I think Twitch, from a point of view of scale and community building, I feel Twitch is more the present than say Facebook or YouTube even, because
Mm-hmm.
there's from a community standpoint, I don't know if you've been on Twitch a lot. It's very vibrant.
I have not.
Yeah,
But it's
I
also my
wish.
understanding that you could make Twitch streams private and only
Yeah,
give the link out to like paid Patreon supporters. And I'm pushing the Patreon, but of course, you know what your business needs, right? Um, there's like a magic number. I think it's like 10,000 followers, right? Once you
yeah,
start getting 10,000 followers on your free platforms, you can start asking them to financially support you, and a good number of them will convert into paid supporters, right? So it's not like you have to do it all right now. It's good that you're thinking about it because if you do go down the Patreon rabbit hole, it's going to be what can I shunt to the private side that only the
yep,
payers will access, and they're only going to want to access it if they've seen the free versions. So you're building up the free versions right now, but eventually the time's going to come where you're going to make the future versions of those private.
yeah, absolutely. No, I. So that's the trick. And here's the other, like, so one of the hardest things I've had to learn about freelancing in the last year,
Mm-hmm.
right? I wish I had learned this at the beginning, but I think when you start, you have to go through a learning curve.
Right.
It's
There's
just
a lot
part.
to it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's a lot to learn. So one of the things I've learned is the first thing you got to figure out, and I think this is one of the most important things, is what do you love to do? Because here's the revelation I had that probably will not shock you because it probably was truth with you as well. Is whatever you throw at the wall, whatever magic you throw at the wall is probably going to resemble the guy or gal or whatever other gender you identify with. It's going to be the same. It's going to be a reflection of that person. And I think a good chunk of freelancing, it took me about 6 months to really figure this out,
Mm-hmm.
was figuring out who I was and who I wasn't.
Right. And it's a lot easier to start with who you're not.
Yeah. Right. And then it occurred to me and it kicked me. Oh, wait, I do this podcast all the time. Right. I do this absolutely all the time. And people say I'm good at it. I've won awards for it. It's like, okay, I've done some impressive things. And so let's see where this can go. And what I learned was that my model probably should be based on the things I'm doing, which is the podcast. Okay. And from the podcast, use that to launch everything else I'm doing, which is like novels and comics and books. Like I'm a creative dude. That's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I that will not change. So that's step one. That is the first step in freelancing. Figure out who you are. Figure out who you're not. The second part in freelancer is, and this is one of the hardest things you're going to have to do. And this is inevitably what I'm figuring out right now. Is what are you willing to give away for free?
Right.
And what are you going to charge for? Because one of the biggest aspects of the freelance mentality that a lot of people don't talk about, right, is at some point you have to charge.
Surprise, surprise! If you didn't know, you didn't see this coming.
Yeah, no, that's the way it is, right? You don't have the luxury of you do not have the luxury of waiting for it, right? So it's one of those truths I've learned with the world is you got to figure out what you're doing that you are willing, that you're basically going to say this is what it's going to cost you. All right, and then you got to look around and see what the rate is. Like for example, I tried audiobooks. I like audiobooks. They're fun in small dosages, but I can't do. Me personally, they are very monotonous, right? And
you mean like being the voice actor for it?
Yeah, well, no, just not just even being the voice actor, actually producing and creating an audio file.
Wow,
it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It really, really is. It's a lot of time. It's not hard, but it's a lot of time.
Right.
Right. And so I learned a lot. I'm happy. It made me a better audio engineer to do it. Actually, I learned an awful lot. It's great. Mm-hmm. But do I want to put in that kind of money and time again? Ever? No, not unless I'm being paid a lot of money.
Right.
Right. Someone actually tried to get me to do an audiobook for $200.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, that's not going to happen, guy.
Actually, it was an author, and she's like, "Well, I get this company that just does them for $200 a pop." I'm like, "Well, good for you." I'm
Yeah,
not.
congratulations.
Because she didn't get the concept of what per finished hour actually means, right? Didn't get that concept, right? Why are you charging that much per finished hour? Like The Rock doesn't do it for 150, does it for 150 bucks an hour. Those voice, like, okay, let's analyze what I'm doing versus The Rock. Rock, how long do you think it takes for The Rock? How many hours do you think it takes for The Rock to do that 1 hour you get of the audio? Right.
I would say 4 hours, probably more.
4, maybe 5, depending upon the book, the story, the tone. All right. Also, what he gets tongue tied with, because there are these things sometimes we do an audio. Like there's this one sentence in the book I did, I couldn't do it. I tried take after take after take after take. Everything around it was good, but that line was like, I get there, I say it,
Sally Sells.
every time, right? It just did me in. So that takes time to edit and cut and redo and repackage. It's a labor of love, right? And it really, really is. And I don't think people really understand that that's a lot of work. So guess what? So for me to do an audiobook on average, it's going to cost closer to $2,000 for me to do that book, right? I might do it cheaper depending on the size of the book. If it's like a 50,000 word novel, probably looking at closer to $1,200, which is not like, it's not a deal breaker, right? That's not unreasonable for the work.
Sure.
But
I mean, come on, look at the value that you're giving them. They're going to make how much money off of this?
Exactly.
Well, evergreen product.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, right? So, but I have to, again, that's the only way I'm going to do it, right? I'm not doing it for cheaper than that because it's not worth my time to do it for cheaper than that, right? And I've had authors come to me for profit share, and I'm like, nope,
dude, I get that all the time as an artist. It's like, can I pay you out of profits or at the back end, or will you do this pro bono because you want to see your name in print? No.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is how back end will work. There are situations I will accept back end if you're Disney.
If you're Disney, if you've got a follower reach of like 3 million.
Yeah, if you have enough reach, I'll do it. If you don't, nope.
And this is like, you know, there are multiple ways to compensate somebody, and it could be like what we said, profit wise, you could pay off the back end, but you have to meet these certain standards for that to be like, give me the confidence that we're going to make this money. If you don't know how to market, if you don't have the audience following, if you don't have the name, I don't have the confidence in the profit, right?
Yeah.
So you can do the back end if you meet those standards, or you could do it just like audience outreach. Do it for exposure, right? Well, what's the exposure? Are you Google? Am I doing a Google draw of the day?
And Google would pay you. They would pay me. They would not. The Guardian tried an experiment a few years ago about it, and it blew up in their face. It just blew up in their face hardcore because no one was going to go and do it for free. And I think a lot of authors have become beggars because there's no money in it. That could be the farthest thing from the truth. Because actually, the reality of the situation is there's a lot of money in this. The question is, are you willing to stand your ground?
Right? Yeah, that's the thing, right? So many writers want to write a book. There's nothing stopping you from writing a book, but are you trying to make money off of it? Because then you need a business mindset. Money doesn't just come out of nowhere. You need to spend money to make money. You're making a product if you want to turn your book into a money-making machine.
Yep. And that's like I said, and this is why I made the decision to go back into the workforce, at least for a short period of time. I'm still going to be freelancing and stuff, but I need to scale. That's the reality of my situation. So I'm going to go and I'm going to scale, keep doing what I'm doing because honestly, I learned a ton. I make money now with I've sold more articles already. I've sold already in a short time a bunch of articles real quick. I'm gonna keep pitching more and doing more each and every time because it's easy and quick, and I'm trying to hit different markets too. I have goals, but I know this is all going to take some time before I see it. I fully see it. Like magazine writing, something I'm passionate about. I might not see payment until the articles hit the stands. That's months down the line, right? I need to feed myself. I need to feed myself in the meantime while I'm getting those months down the line things lined up in like odd ducks in a row.
Right.
Right. So, and that's going to be probably my next year. I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between I'm working for somebody and I'm freelancing. Right. That's where it's going to be for the next little while. Would you like to see my rogue?
Let me share. Let's see the rogue. Oh, what's up, Rogue? How you doing?
How's that? I've gotten better, huh?
I don't know which version of Rogue you're going for, so
cartoon
art, it's fine. Yeah.
Hold on a sec.
Let's see your reference.
Yes, that's what I'm going to try to do right now. I can't wait till I get color like this next month because it's going to be. I'm going to see where the share screen is. Where's the share screen?
What tools are you using for color?
I don't have any color. I'm just using these to draw right now. Right. So
yeah, I mean, you're getting.
There's a couple color sets I'm looking at. One of them, I've had some friends recommend me some stuff, so I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna take a look at them. One of them is gonna be like $100 for like a 24 like color set, which might be a little more than what I need right now, but I can grow into that.
Is this paint? Is this colored pencil or?
Colored inks, I think.
Oh, okay, wow, you're getting into the inking.
Yes. One of my goals. I'm trying to find where the share screen thing is on this. All right, because I'm trying to show. Where the heck is it?
Are you saying inked pens or you dip a brush in ink?
Oh no, sorry, sorry. They're more like marker slash like not.
Copics.
Yeah, Copics. Yeah.
Yeah. You can do a lot of blending with those.
Absolutely. There's a reason for that. So there's, like I said, I'm going to be like, where the heck is the sharing of the thing? Because again, I'm looking for the sharing of the thing. Here, I'll see if I'm going to, I'll send it to you this way because that way you can actually, the
screen share button is under everything.
I'm looking for it. I'm trying to find the screen share.
It's under the visuals.
Yes, picture, cinema, thumbnails, mute, disable camera, share screen. There we go.
All right, so I'm looking at the reference.
And for everybody else, that's the reference right there.
All right, so once that reference is checked out, let's see your piece again.
Sure. Okay, now I gotta stop screen sharing. Haha. They said.
I'm looking at my other screen. How do you feel about it?
It's better.
It's better.
It's better. No, I'm getting better. Like that's how what I honestly feel about it is much like anything else in life. Compared to how I started and where I'm at now, I've come leaps and bounds. And does it look like it perfectly? No. Right? And I'm totally good with that too, because I recognize the fact that it doesn't necessarily have to, but the fact of the matter is I captured, I think, the face pretty good. I think the face is where I'm at my strongest.
A little bit closer. So you got the attitude there. I think with the right markers, you'll be able to get thinner lines with the right pens. So you'll be able to differentiate what's the hair, what's the eyes, right? And in that way, you can focus where the viewer's eyes go.
Yes.
So you want it to really focus on the eyes and the face features, right? Because when all the lines are the same length or the same width, it's hard for the viewer to see what's the most important thing to look at.
Yes. Oh no, I know. I know it's a process, and figuring out that language is something I'm working on. But I do think like I did something like a suggestion, which is I literally cut a face in like an act, like a quadrant kind of thing. And actually, I was actually really like, oh, it actually works. Now I have to get better at it. Again, and like I said, this is month 5. Like I look at it like this, like for 5 months, that's actually pretty good, right?
Of doing drawings,
Yeah.
yes.
That's 5 months, right? And that's me writing books and everything else I'm doing too. So it's like, you know what? I'm good. I'm good that I'm getting confident at this. I think by the end of the year, well, I am doing my first sequentials. Actually,
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. It's literally this week. Like I did a draft of my novel called Lights Out.
Right.
And, right. Yeah, and the first part of it is a Twitch stream. Like the model is actually a Twitch stream. So actually the character in the background is playing 8-bit Legend of Zelda. And I chose 8-bit Legend of Zelda for 2 really simple reasons. 1, it's Zelda. Who doesn't like Zelda? But 2, it's simple.
Right.
I'm not again, it's knowing where you're at versus where you're not. I'm better. But to say I'm consciously confident, I'm not even close to that yet. Right? So right, and that's just me being very honest about my skill level. Like I am I'm a novice with potential is how I kind of see that, how I see myself right now. Maybe a little bit better, maybe
a novice with dedication.
Yeah. Yes. There, thank you. I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
You know, people are, I'm gonna screen share again. People are, one of the things that I get a lot is, oh wow, you're so talented. And I think that's kind of a backhanded compliment, if I'm going to be honest, because it wasn't talent that got me here. Talent can get you started, but it is the deliberate practice that develops skill. I'm not talented, I'm skillful, right? So when you say you're a novice with potential, that's great, but who cares about potential if you don't do anything? You're a novice who is practicing deliberately to get better. You're dedicated. That's better.
Yes. Well, also, here's the thing: talent's overrated.
Talent is overrated. I love that book.
Yeah, talent is overrated. It really, really is. Like talent it's fun. It's funny. Like I sold my first piece of art my first month. Wasn't for very much money, but I sold my very first piece of art. And what it made me realize is, right, I can do this. Doesn't really matter. Like I may not be ever the best of the best. I don't have to be. But I stopped worrying about how talented I was. I stopped worrying about how good I was. I'm just having fun and doing my thing.
And so long as that comes through, people will support that.
Yeah.
We talked earlier about you were saying what can you do for free, right? And then you were talking about how you do this Twitch stream to get people interested. And those two together, if you know anything about advertising funnels and marketing funnels, the top of the funnel to get people to your sales page, right? For people listening, the funnel is basically, here, let me draw it out, right? Sales page.
Yes.
Right. And that's your bottom of funnel. And then your top of funnel is everything that looks like it's for free. It's your Twitch, Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta, all those.
TikTok, Clubhouse, whatever your jam is. Whatever your jam is.
That's where people get to know you and start trusting you. And then they check out your website and maybe they sign up for your subscription. This is your middle of funnel. So emails, right? And then from there you have an audience that's like, yes, I like what you're saying. I want to know more. So they're already warm to your sales, and a conversion of a portion of them will convert into paying you. So maybe it's courses or a commission or a book, right?
Yep.
So your free stuff, what can I do for free? That's all going to live in your top of funnel. I'm going to draw no matter what. I'm going to work on my comic no matter what. I'm going to make these portraits no matter what. And I put all those here, right?
Mhm.
But as soon as I want to get paid for something, like on Patreon, I'm going to talk about it here, but I'm not going to show it in the free stuff.
Mhm.
I'm going to have people pay for it. And so, like, that's where your what can I do for free versus what can I charge people? It's all back to this funnel.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And this is something that, again, honestly, I just look at the fact that most people when you look at sales, right, it ultimately comes down marketing your subscriptions and your emails. Ultimately,
Right.
that is where your sales are. You look at social media, right? You can definitely make clients and make connections on social media, but your sales, more often than not, is going to come from your sales page, your offers, your growth. So, and like I said, I always charge for my books. I may give some away eventually, but I'm very hesitant to, because I recognize, like, this is where I'm going to be making one of the places I want to make money doing it, right? So
Right.
maybe I give you a gateway drug book. Here's my gateway drug. Right? But try one. The first one's free.
Right.
And also is like, you're gonna have to pay for it. And someone's gonna be like, but I don't have, I want my fix. Like, oh, here you go.
Gotta get the fix.
Yeah, you gotta get your fixes here. But it's about becoming better enough to do it, because once you build your own, once you build your own following, that's what you're gonna do. And like I said, I look at what I do for free, what I do that's fun and engaging, and invites people to come out and do their thing. I think I'm going to try doing that Rogue again, because she was fun to do. Rogue is actually a very fun character. Rogue is a very fun character to draw. I have to say, she is very.
She's
fun.
got that one bang highlight, you know.
Well, it's not even just that. It's her attitude. Her attitude's actually very fun. Right? She's trouble. Like on levels of. You just look at her, you know she's trouble.
You know, she can kill people by touching them.
Yeah.
She's trouble, dude.
she's trouble, like all of the trouble, and that's what makes her fun. Like right. That's why we are always fascinated with the things that can kill us. I think that's just a human nature thing.
Yeah, let's keep the snake in the tank in the room.
Yeah, exactly.
I want a pet alligator. Tiger King, anybody?
Why not? Or you can do what Mike Tyson did and actually have pet tigers.
You don't have a pet tiger? That's weird.
Yeah, I know. Not yet. Good things come to those who wait.
That's right.
That's right.
And you know, we mentioned it last time, but you know, you're talking about your art style and whatnot. Cyanide and Happiness, right? Strange World comics. These aren't incredibly complex drawings, but because the writing is good, they keep going.
Well, yeah. Well, it's storytelling. Honestly, you know, one of the things I've been working on is expression. Right. I like it, because honestly, God, this is gonna sound like you shouldn't try to be good. I'm not saying that. This is what I mean. It doesn't matter how good it is. Does it make you feel something when you look at it?
That's all we're here for, just to feel something.
That's right. Well, it's true though, right?
I'm not kidding.
That's it. That's what this is all about. It's not about the how to put this. It's not about anything else. It doesn't have to be the greatest thing ever. In fact, so if you understand, look at Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss is one of my favorites. Nothing he draws is that complicated, really. Like, if you really sit there and I drew Cat in the Hat, I drew the Grinch. They're not hard drawings, right? But what makes it good, right? What makes it good is the fact that it's the expression. Like the Grinch. The Grinch is deceptively simple, right? Oh my God! Once I figured him out, it's like so easy, so genius.
Well, it takes a lot of skill to make. I'm making this whole package of character design, and to make a character look like it makes sense,
Yes,
that of course it would be designed that way. It's so simple. That takes a lot of skill. And we're
absolutely,
back to storytelling, right? Character design is storytelling, just visual.
absolutely.
And if you can do that, if you can tell the story of the character just by looking at them or just by writing a paragraph about them in however you're expressing it, the rest doesn't really matter.
No,
You just have to be good at be good at what you do. Don't mess up, okay? And you'll make money.
but under,
Exactly.
but what it comes down to is understanding the language of what you're trying to do. That's what it comes down to. It doesn't come down. It's not. And I made that sound so much easier than it actually is. Like, it's not easy at all. But that, folks, is the secret. If you can figure this stuff out, suddenly you'll have a character who's interesting, who's engaging, and they can be a stick figure. And that's the truth. It's not rocket science, but you got to be very honest about. That's all it takes. But you have to be aware of what that is. So I'm worried about now. I'm gonna have to play with anatomy a little bit because I definitely need to improve on that. It's definitely something I need to work on. But for me, right? For me, I'm more concerned about expression right now because I don't have to get it all right. Right? I just have to get it enough that you understand what you're seeing and you can feel what those characters are feeling.
Mm-hmm.
If I can do that, I got you.
Right. And if you keep it simple, you can say a lot with just simple body language, simple expressions. The rest of the lines that go into defining an expression, it can easily get in the way. And if you don't know what you're doing, then the message isn't going to come across. But it's exactly what you're saying. So long as your message can be told in an understandable way, that's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who go to that top of funnel, like we talked about before, who see your free stuff and they're like, "Yeah, I like what you're doing." It's not a surprise to them that you're doing stick figures or that your expressions look a certain way. They know what they signed up for. You're playing the numbers game, finding those people, which is why you got to post often, which is why you got to Twitch often. It's you have to be on their radar. You have to find those people, and they're out there. There's an audience for every kind of artist,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And like I said, it's one of those things where I got to learn how to market better too. I mean, it's a never-ending game of improvement. It really, really is, and you have to be very, very, very real about that. But you post, you do things, you make you'll slowly. What you'll notice is, right? You'll notice is people will start noticing and paying attention. I had a comedian show up on my Twitch channel when I interviewed a streamer on there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was fun. We had a conversation about what Canada is and isn't, right? And it was fascinating to see a comedian's perspective on Canada, right? And it was different. It's not my perspective, but it's a perspective, and it was fun. It added to my conversation, and then once he left, we continued our conversation about video games. It's the important things in life. You know that. the rest, not much. Look, it's what you love, and it's doing what you love with people you love. It's really the rest. The rest of it is essentially horseshit, right? So.
If you're doing what you love, and you're good at what you're doing, and you invite other people to join you, what you're really building is a community. And it's that community that's going to support you, right? They want to be included. They want to see what you're up to. They want the exclusivity of having access to you.
Exactly.
So really just like trying to cultivate that community right from the offset. Who do you want to be surrounded by? Who do you want to interact with? Right. Those are the people that you'll attract with your content. And one of the best pieces of advice I've heard, I listen to podcasts all the time about the industry, what it takes to be an artist or a comic artist or any of these. The secret here is to put your head down and get good at what you do, because even if you don't work on cultivating an audience at the start, if you're posting really good stuff, you can't hide good stuff. It will rise to the top, whether you want to or not. As soon as it hits the internet, the right people see it, they like what you do, it's going to get shared, it goes viral, but it has to be good. And the only way that it's going to be good is if you are working hard at your expertise and you enjoy what you do and that comes across.
Yes. Yeah. And it takes time. It takes effort. It takes practice. You're gonna fall on your butt a little bit. I mean, it's all good. It's part of life. But you'll make inroads and you'll start getting people to notice you. And sooner or later, you're gonna get these things called expectations. and then it's true though. It's big. It's part of it too. Like when you start seeing success, that's when you're going to start asking yourself, well, how did I get there? And the answer is good. It's good that you ask those questions, because you need to ask those questions. But don't drown yourself in expectation, because if you drown yourself in expectations, you have this wonderful thing called imposter syndrome.
Oh, I love it. Don't you?
Well, I overcame. Me and my imposter came to terms a long time ago.
And that's an important milestone, and it doesn't stop. It will come back, but your
argument. No. It does. People say nice things about your work. It tends to rear its ugly head, and then you go. But my approach is really simple. How did I get here? What did I do that worked so well that people wanted to do this? And what could get in the way of this happening again? If you can answer those questions, you and your imposter can kind of have come to Jesus meetings every so often. It's like, well, what about? It's like, yeah, what about? Shut up. How about that? Just shut up, imposter.
Well, it is anxiety, right? And that's the approach that people need to have with anxiety, right? The worst thing that could ever happen is going to happen, and it's going to suck, right? And then the rational brain's like, yeah, okay, so it's going to happen. What am I going to do when it does happen? What am I going to do to prevent that from happening, right? And imposter syndrome is fear. It's anxiety. So you have to be rational about it. And it's like your approach, right? What did I do to get here? What's my expertise? How am I going to mitigate it if things go wrong? How am I going to continue growing my expertise, right? What's the evidence supporting that I am good at what I do? And the evidence is out there. If people are messaging you being like, hey, I like what you do, save those messages, copy it down, put it on your wall,
Well, yeah, no, that's the whole secret. Like, I've learned a long time ago that when people come and they see you doing your thing, whatever that thing is, right? You're gonna have to accept the fact that you've come so far. You have and that's great, but you still have far you can go. And you gotta be aware of something, and this isn't entirely a bad thing. You have an ego, and that is not in itself a deal breaker, right? In fact, you need one. To be perfectly honest with you, you need a little bit of an ego, right?
If you're going to go public with your stuff, you do. If you're going to get better at what you do, you need an ego.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I think the best advice I ever got came from a writer that's a bestseller. He goes, I stroke my ego all the time, but I never do it in public. He goes, I never do it in public.
Absolutely.
Right? Because it works. It really, 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 really works. What did I miss on this?
I mentioned this earlier, right? I grew up watching artists on YouTube. I'm of that generation. Mm-hmm. Or wherever it is I was seeing them, DeviantArt or something, and they would be live streaming, and I would just basically be salivating, being like, I want to draw what they draw. I want to be that good, right? And then here I am, making these portraits, making my illustrations, and people are complimenting me left and right. I love what you do. You're so talented. This is great. Thanks for sharing. And part of me, that young part of me, is like, are you sure that this is good? Do I believe you? Because it looks like I can improve a lot. And I honor that part of me, because without that insecurity of, gee, I think I could improve still, I wouldn't be improving. I would take it at face value that this is the best that I'm going to get, and people will like it, so that should be okay. It won't be okay. It shouldn't be okay, because I think, I will always continue to improve. That's a virtue. And that's what's going to set me apart from folks who are okay with just doing what they do and being comfortably stagnant. It's really gratifying to check this off the bucket list of one day I want to live stream, right? One day I want to draw and people enjoy what I'm drawing. It's a goal that I've always wanted to do as a child, and now I get to do it, and it's like two thumbs up for Shani. Way to go! Thanks for working so hard. Enjoy that spotlight for a little bit.
Oh, and that's well earned, right?
I think people should. There should anybody who has a goal, I think, needs to work to feel this kind of feeling of what it's like to be good at what you do, right? If you have a goal, you deserve to know what that feeling is like, at least once.
No, absolutely. Like I said, I have had this year was like I said, I mentioned it very, very quietly. One of my books is up for an award this year. Mm-hmm. That was a goal, because it was because my podcast, I love my podcast, but I've been nominated for the same award 3 years in a row, and I've won it once, which is great. I'm really honored by it, right? I'm told it's an honor, but you questioned about where you're at with your writing, right? Well, I've been working on this longer. Am I good here? Right,
can we keep doing this?
Yeah. But then you get that call and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, so people do recognize you all over the place. And that's one of those, it was a goal. It's like, okay, I'm going to go for an award, but I'm going to go for it for my writing as well. Because I don't want people to forget that as well. And that's my ego coming out. Like, being honest, like, I'm good at this too. And I'm going to keep being good at all these wonderful things. And somewhere along the line, I realized I have become what is actually almost feared in the freelancing world. I have become a jack of all trades.
But it's the jack of all trades that you want to be good at, right? Yeah. It's not misplaced. It's not whatever the audience is telling you to do.
Absolutely. No, it's my necessity. I think it's a necessary also of using your gifts. Like that there's a biblical parable of using your gifts. You get 5 talents, you use 5 talents, you get 5 more. And use those 10 talents, you get 10 more. It's true.
I love that.
It's one of the best. It's one of the best parables in the Bible. But if you don't use your gift, you lose it, and that is also true. Right? It's a really, really interesting fact of life that the things we use are the things we enhance. So like I have a little bet with myself, because my sister's going back to school for art design. She's more talented at drawing than I am already. Mm-hmm. Way more talented. But I have a little personal bet with myself that I'm going to see that by the time she's in school, if I can sell 3 more pieces by that time. Get good at color, and start actively selling things as commission, and start actively seeing about taking commissions and seeing what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I have a bet with myself that I can sell 3 before she starts school.
I support that.
Yeah, it's an active little bet with myself.
Yeah, keep challenging yourself.
Yeah, because I look at it like this. Like, at the end of the day, as you say, it's dedication and that belief in yourself that you are good at what you do.
Yeah, and let's take it a step further. Would you be doing this regardless of whether or not somebody would pay you, right? If your hobby is so changeable as to be dependent on somebody else paying you to do it, the love that is required for the dedication isn't going to be there.
Yes, absolutely. No, at this point, because at some point down the road, like I said, I'm doing sequentials. I'm scared to death. I'm doing sequentials soon.
Do
Right?
it.
Yeah, no, of course I will. Absolutely. No, I totally feel like I have to do it because it's the only way I'm going to get better. Like I said, they're not going to be the greatest, but can I tell a story from start to finish with sequentials? If the answer is yes, guess what?
Guess what?
I have taken another step forward in actually doing a comic. Right? I've taken the step forward required to do a comic, and because of that, it's like, well, that's good. That's what I want. That's where I'm going with this. So it's like, well,
it's that parable that you mentioned, right?
mm-hmm.
You have a talent, you start learning other things, right? You're already a storyteller, you're a writer. All you're doing right now is enhancing your skill set by learning how to supplement the writing storytelling with visual storytelling through these sequentials. It's not that far of a stretch. I mean, you're working on your artistic skill, but you already have a crucial tool and tool set, storytelling. If you can do that, then, you know, what my college professor had said, you don't need to know everything about the subject that you're studying. You just need to have one entry point that you understand well, and then use that to start understanding the rest of it.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm doing. And that's what I've been doing. Like I said, life is about constant learning. Like things I've discovered about myself in the last year. And so, like Lights Out, when it's done, it's going to be written and illustrated by me. I wouldn't necessarily illustrate everything I do writing wise because I'm not necessarily the right artist for that job.
Mm-hmm.
But now I can do it. And I almost certainly will do it again down the road as well. Right. And those will be different projects than, say, you know, the stuff I do go, hey, I need a cover artist for it, or hey, I need a logo design for it, or hey, I need this, or hey, I need that. And I'm like, okay, I'll figure it out. And that's kind of where I'm going with it. Like I just know, like, the art of becoming the journey of an artist is one of the continuous self-discovery. Journey of taking it into a business is it's figuring out who you are and who you're not. And it's almost like a full circle part of the conversation. That's the truth. That's in life. It's often about figuring those things out and filtering.
Absolutely. I'm over here trying to, like, you know, I'm running the art part, and I can do so many things for people. You want a portrait, I can do a portrait. You want a character design, I can do that too. You want storyboards, I'm doing that, right? And those are the three main services that have stuck with me, regardless of all the other things that I can do, right? I can do a landscape if you want. I can do a botanical if you want. I can do scientific illustrations and political cartoons if you want. But that's not who I want to continue being, right? That's not what I really want to grow into.
Yep. And I've tried other things too. Like I've tried public relations. That's an interesting one. That's a very, very interesting one. There's a lot of demand for it, but at the same token, right? I've learned that a lot of writers are terrified of marketing.
Aren't they though?
But I honestly don't understand why. Because it's essentially the same thing they're already doing.
There's a, you know, my suspicion is that sales writing takes so much chutzpah. It's back to that ego thing, and we don't live in a society that really values our creatives, right? Here in the States, we barely have art programs, and then suddenly here I am trying to peddle my art. How am I supposed to feel the value that I'm giving to somebody else and translate that into a sales page if schools barely have funds to teach us how to do art in the first place?
Actually, I just had this conversation with a guest the other day. And it was interesting because one of the things that has disappeared from the curriculum, right? We were talking about this, and I think I mentioned this to you off the air, was the whole concept of critical thinking. If you think about what art actually does, right? It teaches empathy.
Mm-hmm. Art and storytelling.
Yeah, they teach empathy. So the fact that they've undervalued those things, and you look at how black and white the world has become in a lot of ways, right? It's like, yeah, no, maybe, just maybe, lack of one has led to the other. And if you really want to save the world and get people to talk and stuff, maybe we should investigate in art programs, not just writing and illustration, but also acting and drama. And the thing is, it's not that different from athletics. Athletics and art are actually alike in almost every way, except for one crystal.
So?
Pardon?
How so?
They require discipline. They require that you show up and practice and pursue a path of excellence. There is a rhythm. There are rules. There's a language to doing things, whether it's on a basketball court or whether it's with having a pass out pen to ink. There are rules. There are languages. There's a language to how to tell a story correctly, right? Probably the most blatant example of art and athletics being like a merger, a perfect merger, is dance, because dance is both. It's listen. The toughest people on the planet are dancers, especially if you're into ballet. You are far and away the toughest people on the block, right? I would rather fight a football player than someone that does ballet for a living.
And watch out for those high kicks.
Well, that's just it. They stand all day on their own weight. Like, they are strong, muscular people. Any ballerina that's listening to my show is like, oh my God, you think we're so badass? It's true. You really, really are.
Come on, dude. I cannot do the splits for the life of me. And you're doing it one-legged vertically.
Yeah, it's like you're just looking at that and going, please don't kill me, right? And I don't think you should, because it's just, but the thing is, they're telling story as well. They're expressing it. You watch a ballet performance, like, I don't care if it's the Nutcracker or if it's something a little bit more contemporary. The dancers are telling a story. But it's true with football. It's true with there's a story being told. It's a simple story, but it's a story being told on the field, right?
A game of strategy.
It's game theory, right? It's game theory played out on a large scale, right? And it's competition. And I mean, that's the biggest difference between athletics and art, is that sense of competition. It's hard to quantify art as in a competitive way, because let's be honest, it ultimately comes down to what you like. Athletics, well, if I score 115 points on the court and my opponent only has 112, I win.
Sure, yeah, it's more cut and dry.
There's a clearer definition. That's the big difference. But if you look at it in terms of practice, dedication, discipline, right? The fact that there's a language and an art form to everything I just described, right? Right? From dance to basketball to hockey to you name it. Right? There are more similarities than there are differences.
Sure. And it's a culture.
Yeah.
And every culture has its own language, and a lot of languages have words that don't translate. Like, there are words that exist in German that don't exist in English. And I think it's in that untranslatable, culture-specific words, right? Or, what the values that you get in art, in visual arts, that you might not get in hockey or something, that give a gift to society that can't be given anywhere else. And the society will change if you take those gifts away.
Yeah.
If you start taking out arts, but you keep sports, you're taking the gift of arts away from society.
Absolutely. Right. And that's the thing, right? It's not that but again, they're more similar than they're different. But what they convey, one's a competition, one is about community. That's the big difference between the two, right? They're both important, right? They are both very, very, very important. But you you but we for as a culture um tend to look at um tend to only tend to pay because that's the ultimate sign of how we value in this world.
Mm-hmm.
We pay athletes more. Now, not now. Let's, to be fair, not every athlete. There's a lot of people that do it for love, just like we do, that do not see the money,
Mm-hmm.
right? That some of these athletes do get paid. That all said, right? That all said, um, right? If we're being honest here, right? There's definitely a higher ceiling with athletics than there is right now with arts. Um, that isn't to say that again I have again art because athletics have become such a business. I don't fault athletes for their approach because it does make a lot of sense, right? I would have a similar approach with that much money involved, but that is the world we have evolved to and live in. And so now we have competitive people that want to be right all the time, right? And as a result, right, if you are there is no empathy, there is no nuance, there isn't as much nuance anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly it's either this or this, or that. And disagreements, which are actually I think quite healthy. I wouldn't want anybody to have the same point of world as much as I think I have an amazing points of view.
As right as I know I am,
No, I'm just
I
gonna say I'm
want other
amazing
people to be
because
wrong.
even I'm not big enough. Even I don't have the ego to say I'm right all the time. But I do like my opinions. I have the ego. There, if we're gonna be ego stroking, be honest with this, I like my opinions. I am wise enough to know that they're not always right, right? But
Wisdom.
I still, yeah. But we live in a world now where people have this. Again, I can disagree with you on heck anything I want. Really, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, I can still have a drink with you. I can still draw with you. Who cares,
Mm-hmm.
right? I, there are bigger problems in the world than me having to be absolutely 100% right about how the world works, because I still haven't figured that out yet. If you ever figure that out, let me know.
Oh yeah, write a book about it, and you might have to pay, but it'll be there.
Oh, okay. Can I just bribe you with ice cream and you just tell me and tell me privately? Will that work too?
I do like ice cream. You might have a deal.
Okay. If you ever
Well,
figure
we
it out,
had this conversation from the writer who can't sell themselves, right?
Yeah.
And like how there's no value that we get in our culture that helps the writer to sell themselves. But if you look outside of schooling, there's a whole industry around storytelling. It's called Hollywood. It's called YouTube. It's called advertisements.
Yes.
So there is obviously a value in it.
Oh, lots of it. Lots of it. It's actually and it's becoming more valuable all the time too, actually. The ceiling for it is ridiculous right now in terms of what it could become. But you have to see it. Right. And that's the thing. I'm not sure everybody's willing to a lot of ours don't see it yet. I think just based on how things have been in the last long time, if that makes sense.
Sure. And because of like the offers that I put out there, I do storyboards, I do animatics. So I work with film people, so I'm connected with film people, right? And the biggest thing that I've heard from film people is that they are in the business of storytelling, right?
Yep.
Your script, you could write a script, but if you want to tell a story that makes money, you are making a product. And so we're circling back to how important it is to, like, if you want to really hit it home as a legacy storyteller who made money, you need to think of your intellectual property as business assets. They are products, right? And you need to think like a business person. And that goes back into how you sell it. And we're talking about benefits, right? And you're talking about books and how Facebook ads might not work for you and all these other things. And it's like, how can you turn this into a product? How can you find your market of people who will buy what you're selling? Who writes like you? Who do you write like, right? Who are the readers of that author? And then those are the people that you're going to be targeting for your advertisements. It's not that your writing is bad. It's not that your story is bad. It's that the business mindset needs to be worked on.
Correct.
And that goes back into imposter syndrome. Why aren't people looking at my stuff? Is it because my stuff is bad? No, it's because you don't know how to market.
That's right. and by the way, I do point out, like, my problem is at this moment scale. And
sure. Yeah.
Right. All right. And I want people to be very clear on this. And this is the important reason why I have to go back to a day job, at least for the time being, is I need to be able to scale myself up. And that is fair. Now, that all said, I already know this deep down on the inside. I'm not staying because I know, because I already know that, like, for me personally, that I officially love drawing Miss Marvel, by the way. I think I'm going to go with Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel. Are you showing it?
Yeah, I'm going to show it when it's done. Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
I officially, and the reason why is I can so cheat on anatomy with her. Her abilities require she can make her arms and limbs bigger, so they don't have to be in proportion, and it works for her.
Who's that? Elastigirl?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda. But
I'm gonna share the screen again. I think you have to do something on your side for that to work.
Yeah. No. There. Sharing the screen.
Boom. Done.
So I'm gonna go to Chrome tab here. I'm gonna show people what my model is. I think it's this one. Is it that one? No, it's not that one. It's this one. Okay. Well, that one though, I did learn some things about her. But this is the one this is what I'm trying to draw right now. This one in particular, because she's fun.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see how you could get a little loosey-goosey with that.
Yeah, no, she's fun. She's so fun to draw too. I love her. Like her expression is also really cool, right? Also, was one of my favorite books back in the day as well. It's one of my favorites. It was G. Willow Wilson did a phenomenal job with the character. The only problem is, and this is a business related topic, in the sense that Miss Marvel had the unfortunate victimization of Marvel Comics constantly relaunching their books.
Lame.
Yeah.
Wait, let me understand that a little bit more.
Do you want me to clarify what that is?
Yeah.
Okay. So So Marvel had this like really bad habit for a long time of like constantly restarting with new issue ones, and my belief is there is a way that actually makes sense, and that is if it's a new creative team, it's a new direction. There are ways to make that. Crap! I lost my Miss Marvel. Model. I have to find it again. All right, that's not a big deal though. Right. Thing is, so what happened was you get like, there's one situation that her first one was really good. It was about 60 issues, which is actually really good. That's a good run for any time frame in comics, right? Mm-hmm. But then every so often you get like one shots, right? You get like one shots in like and minis in the middle, then they restart the series with a brand new number one.
Sure, yeah.
And the problem with that is, It's the same team. It's the same team telling the story.
Oh, so it's the same story over and over again.
Kind of. Also, it just remember, it's a collector's thing too, right? Right. How many issues of number one? How many number ones do we have before they're not really number ones anymore?
I see. I see.
Right.
So it lowers the value of it.
Not only does it lower the value, it lowers the specialty. Like if for example, she had a new creative team each and every time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You did the new number one. It'd be annoying a little bit, but at least okay, someone else is taking a crack at the character and they're telling a brand new story. So I think like relaunches should be like, okay, if you want to change it up from a marketing standpoint, that new creator, kind of go telling a story, a new story. You kind of want to keep it like fun and different. Okay, you know what? I'm not entirely sold on you constantly doing the number ones, but at least you know what, that I can buy that. That makes some sense to me. Okay.
Sure.
Right. If I'm with the same, if I have the same character, same team, same story. If do I feel it's a little disingenuous to keep selling an issue one every like 6 months?
Yeah, let's just call it like an issue 6.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, I guess it would be pretty dishonest otherwise.
Well, it's diminishing returns, right? And so you gotta be real with what you're doing with the character, right? And for me, right, that's kind of like that's the thing I had. But like Marvel did this not just with her, but with other characters. So what happened is people would just eventually drop the book, and I get why, because it's like, well, I feel like you're being dishonest with me, and they kind of are. So
yeah,
I mean, you got to make, when you do make a change, a number one can be incredibly valuable. I'm so proud I did that hand like that. I am so proud.
Yeah.
I'm
not doing
it. You'll see. You'll see. You'll see. I promise. I'm not trying to tease you. Well, a little bit, but not a little bit. And you seem to be getting a kick out of my enthusiasm for doing it anyway. So that's a perk, right? So,
I love when artists enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah. So essentially, I stopped reading the book because it just was like, well, just let G. Willow Wilson tell her story. Don't worry about any of that other stuff, because honest, right? Most of the other stuff just doesn't matter. So why make it more complicated than it already is? Stick with what you're good at, right? I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try something a little different this time. All right, well, like I said, soon, almost there. But that's kind of the thing, right? Marvel had a really bad habit of this for a very long time, which is too bad, because they still have some of the best characters and creative people in comics doing their thing. So I think that's cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's kind of what happened there. It's like I was like, I kind of feel like you're lying to me. And now actually we had this discussion. That's exactly what it is. You were lying to me. You're telling me this is like a number one and it's special. And
I trusted you.
It's true. Hey, don't. You know what? Something I've learned: do not underestimate trust, like ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right. If you break the trust of your audience, you're done. You're just done.
At least with that batch of audience. And with the internet, it sticks around.
Yes, exactly. Well, here's the thing. You can kind of get out of it by like owning the fact that you're a fuck up. It does get
Yeah, right.
right. Hey, listen, why'd you do it? Because I'm a screw up. Oh,
Oh, well, we
yeah,
won't hold you accountable now.
not fully. You're still a dick. It's like, yeah, that's true. I still am, but that's okay. I've made
But you love me.
I've made peace with my inner asshole a long time ago.
Uh,
You like that one for some reason.
well, I had the visual of an inner asshole.
It's like, you're a dick. Yes, yes, I am. You're okay with this?
You know.
It's like, you're okay with this? I made my peace with it. It's all good. I won't pretend I'm good at this. I'm just gonna say that I've learned valuable lessons, right? But oh, you're improving. Well, just look at my record lately. It's there. But yeah, trust is the heart and soul of business. It really, really is.
And we talked about niches and whatnot before, but like if your niche is to be an asshole or a dick or something who's kind of improving and you're consistent about it, you will find people, an audience, you will build an audience who likes that.
Yes.
You can be as genuine and authentic to your inner asshole as you want to be, and there will be people there to support you.
That is absolutely 100% correct. But you got to be accountable to that inner asshole. That's the thing. You have to be authentic and accountable. That's the thing.
You just got to be consistent about it.
Yeah. Because if you're not, people are going to say bullshit, and they're going to be right. That's the truth. I don't have to like you to root for you, and that's also true. Now, this one, the face is not quite right, but there are parts of it I really like. So, I'm finishing playing with him.
Are you showing off right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna show up in just like a minute. I'm adding some just little things. Nothing like super fancy. Just little details that I hair is interesting in that you actually, in some ways, the more squiggly you are with hair, the realer it looks.
Yeah, I did a hair tutorial not too long ago. It was a really quick one. But there's, you're doing inking. You're using pens, so the technique is very different. You can show a lot of personality with hairstyle, right? We were talking about expression and body language before, and there's like a whole language to hair expression too.
Like I said, like you want to see it? Do you want to see? It's up for everybody to see.
All right, let's get a close up on the hair. That looks like Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Now that I saw the reference, that looks like her. It was the lightning, yeah.
Yeah.
The scarf.
The scarf, the lightning, and the hair. I made the hair a little bit different, but yeah, no, it's like she's fun to draw. She's actually quite fun to draw. Yeah, because again, she's harder to screw up. Actually, that's the best thing about it. It's like she's harder to screw up, which is like I think the best part of all is just like, oh, the accounts really screw up.
I want to show you something really quick.
Sure.
I'm sharing my screen again.
Okay. You want me to click the button?
Yes, please.
Aha.
Okay, so this is the flour sack method. Do you know about it?
I do not. I know nothing. I'm just. I'm. No. It's honestly, it's one of those situations where I am just literally every day I just draw and I'm learning stuff. And then I gotta start learning techniques and problem solving skills now because I'm at that point where it's like my style is good, but to grow, I'm actually gonna have to learn how the full language of how this shit works. Right, and I know it. So again, going back to go forward. So show me.
Sure, yeah. So here's a person, really quick, right? There's like 4 hemispheres, right? You have left, right, top left, bottom left, or bottom right, all these things. And if you look at the trunk of a person, right, you can make it into a flour sack. so when we were talking about the flour sack method, we're talking about where's the weight going.
Mm-hmm.
If you can draw a flour sack with personality, then you can draw emotion in the anatomy. I looked at your, the drawing that you're doing right now. That's a full body shot. There's a lot of action to it. So the flour sack method could be helpful in determining where's the weight going, where's the perspective going. Are they coming towards you or away from you? Person, right? I'm trying to do this on the spot to, you know.
I think this is great. Like, I've had some great people come on board to actually just like show me all kinds of things. I learn every time.
So we're just gonna make this 3D. Here's a flour sack. And oh, hold on, give my program a moment. Here's the top, right? So this is akin to the shoulders, and then down here is akin to the hips, right? So does it make sense how this is kind of the trunk of a body?
Yeah, no, I totally see it.
Okay.
Although honestly, you should draw a sailboat. There, you got like a sail there for like a ship for a sea. There, it's almost like you build a pirate ship. Not that one. That one, like the one right above it. It feels like pirate. That one wants to be a pirate ship. She's laughing.
We're gonna make this a thing.
Yeah.
I lived on a boat for a while, so we could actually do this.
Yes. Well, again, it was right there. I could see it. It's like, this is a pirate ship. Arr.
Hold on.
Also, you need to screenshot this and send this to me, because this should actually be like the cover image for our drink and drop of the next one, because I think this is hilarious.
You got it. We'll do.
Yeah.
And then here's a little person. Ahoy. Yeah, okay, cool. We did it. So there's your flour sack. So that aside, right? If you can figure out where the weight is on a flour sack, you can do body language really easily. So here's like a flour sack. Let's just put a person to it. This side's coming towards us. This side's coming away from us. And let's say giving us a thumbs up. Way to go. And then leg towards us, leg away from us.
That's right.
So the trunk, right, is divided, and wherever you put the weight of the flour sack is where you're going to put the motion of the anatomy of the gesture, right? This is gesture drawing. Wherever the bottom of the flour sack is where your leg's going to come out. So I'm just telling you this as like, if you're ever trying to get an expressive body language, just fuck around with a flour sack for a little bit and see what different shapes you can give it.
So if you see a flour sack exhibition on your LinkedIn page with my stuff, it's gonna be like, I blame Shani, and she's gonna be like, yes, I blame. Like, but I gotta say, that's a pretty epic pirate ship you got in the middle of all that.
Yeah, I'm gonna screenshot it now.
Yeah.
One. Trust me, I really am an artist.
I really know what I'm doing. I swear.
Let's just let's make a fun thing of it.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Like that's, like I said. People ask me, "Are you okay if I show you stuff?" It's like, yeah, please show me stuff. I don't know what I'm doing. It's the whole of my secret. Don't tell anybody. Right?
I'm constantly learning. All right.
Yeah.
This is free college for me.
Actually, it kind of is. I mean, I'm learning. Again, I am genuine. Like, people think I would be insulted. It's like, no, I'm not. I don't pretend I'm good. I'm just learning. And like I said, I've done 5 months, right? So I mean,
And you got the whole rest of your life.
What?
You got the whole rest of your life.
Exactly. But honestly, I think it's just as a matter of practice, as a matter of like, skills. I truly think that like having an open mind and a willingness to learn things
Mm-hmm.
is, I will never like that part. I will always keep humble because honestly, it doesn't matter how I got started or how far I come. There is always something I can learn because honestly, I don't know everything. I know that's a big thing to admit. It's an acknowledgement on here that the world is bigger than I am. Yeah, I know it's a big step. It's an important step.
That's very big of you to admit.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we were talking about like keeping our expertise a while ago, right? But that's the mentality that you need to be an expert. It's I don't know everything. I'm still learning and I enjoy learning. I love being a perpetual student. The world is incredible and there's so much out there for me to know about, and the more that you can incorporate about the world into your practice or your subject or your storytelling or any of it, the more interesting you become, the better you become. Is that interdisciplinary approach to just, that comes with being a student of life. People like that. They want to learn from you.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much my whole game. Like, look, I have had this is. Can you believe I've done 556 episodes?
Wow, dude. Wow. Yeah. Wow.
So I've had the pleasure of talking to a lot of people in that time. This is my 6th year of doing the podcast. 6.
Dang, dude. That's like twice a week.
Yeah,
times a week.
Yeah. Well, now it's closer to like now to 4 to 5 days a week. I've already this is what I do. Like, I know who I am. I know what I do, and I know what I can offer people. So now it's like we were talking about earlier about Patreon and other things. It's figuring out that balance of free versus what you pay for, and like I said, I need to scale because the other part of it too, because I've done this for so long and people have watched me grow from the very beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. You want to keep expanding and finding new people with your audience because that's the only way you will keep thriving. Because the old you don't ever want to insult the people that support you. But the fact of the matter is, people will come in and they'll support you, and some people will drift away. Other people will stay, right? But the people that that always ebbs and flows. You have to constantly keep looking, keep searching, keep going, right? Mm-hmm. So it was like, so when I made the decision to go back to work, I remember having this conversation with my dad. He goes, "This irks me. You have to go back and put so many hours a week into this." I'm like, that's a matter of perspective. It's just like it's only short term. I know this is going to be I can't be there for very long. There's a point where it goes the other way, where I'm there too long and it just doesn't support me anymore.
Right. And that's being deliberate with how you live, right? Yeah. You have to be thoughtful with how you're spending your time. It's so easy to just accept how things are. And so, like, either the job helps me or it doesn't because I'm spending too little or too much time with it. Some people would be comfortable with spending too much time with it, but you know what you want. So it's like, does it help my goal or doesn't it? And that makes all the difference.
And that's it. Like we talked about the poultry place. I did one ever like shift that was over 11 hours there. I was not happy.
Yeah, right.
It was done. It was like, pardon?
That was the first and the last.
That was pretty much it. Yeah, I wasn't going to do that ever again because I didn't. It's like, to me, it wasn't worth it. All right, it's like I'm not getting paid enough for this. And like I said, this goes back to like the fast food mentality I have, right? It's like I can flip a burger, it's 8 hours and I go home. I don't really need much else. And like I'm by myself. It's not like seriously, I mean, I'm investing in myself, and then my leftover money is going to be comic book money and occasionally maybe a date. I mean, it's not like I'm going out of my way to kill myself, you know?
Sure.
Right? And I'm not going to, because it's not worth it for me. Like I already told you, my master plan. I actually am getting a car sometime this summer.
Muzzle.
My master plan is it's going to take me, I figure, about a year of I'm going to see where the next year goes in terms of reinvestment, going and all that stuff. But after a year, summer summer 2022. From what it looks like, at least down in the States, you guys will probably be, if not fully out of the pandemic, we're only closing small places here and there. We're not locking down the whole nation anymore, because it looks like, from what I can tell, it looks like August is when you guys are probably going to be mostly open again. From what,
assuming people will vaccinate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So it looks like August. Like that's what it looks like. I'm almost certain of it. And once that happens, the rest of the world will follow suit in some form or fashion. But in your case in particular, it's one of those things where it's just like, Canada looks like I was going to hold off for 2 years, and maybe actually not, because I have a choice in the matter here up here with the way we're going up here, but next year we should be a lot clearer. People should be moving more freely about at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So when that happens, I'm gone.
You're just saving up money until then.
Yeah. Well, again, invest in myself, get to the point where what I'm doing is actually worth doing. The beautiful thing about a remote job, and this is the other thing about a lot of people, I know I'm thinking about this, and I know others will too. You don't really have to be anywhere. That's a very interesting and wonderful truth.
You can be anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we're back to like knowing who you are and who you're not, right?
Yeah.
That works because you value traveling. I value traveling.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't work if you valued working one-on-one with people and cooking food for them and seeing them smile when they eat it, right?
Oh yeah.
Two different personalities.
Oh yeah, and there's nothing wrong with either personality. Like I said, I came to this conclusion, and I'm okay with this. The world is bigger than me, and everybody's got different wants than what I got, which is totally good.
Which is great. That means I don't have to do everything.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's how that works, right? So that's kind of how I see it, and that's kind of where we're going. So that's pretty much it. So I figure I got 1 year just training and doing my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out, because, like I said, I don't see myself as an employee anymore, and
yeah,
I never will again. I have crossed that line. I will never come back. Now it's just like, let's put it together so I can financially support myself.
Right.
And that's what the next year is all about for me.
Well, I know with the kind of dedication that you have and what I know of you, you're absolutely going to get there. Just a matter of time.
Yeah. It's a matter of time and ups and downs and some bumps here and there. But I mean, that's life. You just keep rolling. And
absolutely, that's everything.
Yeah. You keep rolling and keep going, and just hang 10. And if there's anything I'm hoping everybody hears in my shows, like, all things are possible. All of them. You just got to go out there and make the decision of what you want to do, and then just do it.
Yeah, there's really no shortcut there. What does it look like to reach your goals? You're taking small steps every day in the direction that you want to go. You don't wish it, you just do it. And it's not glamorous. It's a lot of work. It's messy. But if you make it your priority and you are dedicating time to it daily, it's a cause and effect thing. Mm-hmm. There's no way that you won't reach your goal if you're working at it.
Oh, you might die before you hit it. It does that.
You might die.
But here's the piggyback on what you're saying. You will eliminate the biggest obstacle from stopping you to achieve your goals, which is always you.
Always.
Yeah. And this is also the cautionary tale, the cautionary part of the tale. No matter what direction you choose, you will always do what you want to do. Always. So be very careful with what you don't do as well. Because if you're not doing it, guess what? You're still doing what you want. So
even the decision to not decide if that's what you want to do, that's a decision.
It is. And you'll hold back as a result. At some point, you have to look in the mirror and find whatever expectations you have for yourself. And then just try to live in them, whatever they might be.
You know, we live in a pretty death-phobic society, right? But like what you said, right? You could die before you reach your goal. That's something that I think about a lot, right? What if I were to die before I reach my goal and then all this struggle is for naught? And it's like, well, what if I died flipping burgers? That's the alternative.
Actually, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you. Even if you die before you achieve your goal, right? Even if you die before you achieve your goal, right? So what?
Exactly.
Right? Did you live the life you want to live? Did you do the things you wanted to do? I don't fear. Okay, that's a lie. Let's say this exactly the right way. At almost 15 years ago, I came to the conclusion that one day I was going to die, and that there was nothing I was going to do that could stop it. In fact, I had a very, very real indication that it's going to come for me one day, whether I want it to or not.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of terrifying me, it actually freed me, because what it did was, it's like, which is why in one sense I'm like literally the worst person in a pandemic, because I like it doesn't, I don't have that same core of fear. I just don't. It's not there, and it never will be. But well, on the other hand, coming out of the pandemic, I might be the best person, because I'm like, I'm just going to go for the things that really matter to me, because all I got is now, and I know this better than most people. And so I don't stop. I don't quit. I don't worry about the fact that what might happen, because at the end of the day, I'm not walking away from this anyway. So I'm not, with that freedom in place, I'm just going to do what I want. That drives people crazy sometimes, because I really can't be stopped.
Like, yeah, I wouldn't know how to do anything else.
Yeah, I don't know how to do anything else, and I really can't be stopped. So you can do one of two things. You can condemn me privately for all the things I'm going to let myself do, or you can root for me because of all the things I'm going to let myself do. And hopefully it encourages you to do the same.
Absolutely. I'm going to die, so I better get serious about this.
Yep. Whatever that is for you.
For me.
Yeah. Whatever that is for you. If that means cooking a meal for somebody so you can see the look on their face when they have a meal, great. If that means acting in a movie because this is what you're going to do and this is what you're born to do, then yeah, you're going to. If it means you're going to go in the ring and you're going to fight somebody to the point a referee has to stop it, that's great. If it means going to work in a factory because that's what you love to do, it doesn't matter. Happiness is a very fluid thing for each and all of us. What matters is that you've actually made the decision to think about what that is for you. And that you don't.
That's like what our ancestors have made the sacrifices for. It doesn't matter what you're doing, but my ancestors, like, I need to have the choice. I'm in that point in evolutionary history where I can have the choice and it's my right, and it would be a waste of my whole ancestry to not choose what I want to do.
You know, I would go one step farther. It's always been that way. I like one of the things. I think one of the things I've realized in the last little bit is the world's limitations, whatever those are. Most of them don't matter. Yeah, I'm going to sound like a crook. Maybe this does make me sound kind of criminal, but the truth of the matter is, we've always had the power to be whoever we wanted to be. Always. Sometimes situations dictate that you have to be a certain way, and that's true. But when you get right down to it, no matter what you end up doing, at some point there's time for you and who you want to be going forward. I think the big difference between now versus then is we have the freedom to really think about that in greater detail than what happened back then. Back then it was all about just to get through the day. Now it's like, no, it's not just about the day. It's about where you want to be in 5, 10, 20 years from now.
Yeah.
Who do you want to be? What do we want to become? And do we have the dedication to see it through?
There are so many people who don't get that choice that it's one of the sadder parts in life when I see people who don't choose at all, who just autopilot through.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. It happens all the time. Sometimes it's hilarious when you see it because you recognize like you can see what they could do to make it better easily. But you also realize that it's not you can't really say anything one way or the other because it's like they've already made their choice. Like whether they realize or not, they have made this choice.
The choice to not choose is a choice.
Yep. My dad has a story. He has someone that works for him. She was really mad at me one day because I just tell her just go do stuff, and she's like, "Well, I can't do this because of my conditions and stuff like that." I've seen people who are quadriplegic or can't use their whole body to just do things. She has a condition, and I'm not belittling that. And I realize that again, everybody's got different limitations, and I don't question that. But that never will stop me from saying just go for the thing because I've seen human beings do incredible things with incredible limitations, right? So, but she came out that I was judging her. I was like, no, just you're gonna do what you want to do each and every time, and no matter what, I wish you the best, right? Maybe I sound condescending, I don't know, but that wasn't really the intention. It's like, you're free to do what you choose, and no matter what, I wish you well.
Yeah, and we're all at our own places, right? You can't rush somebody out of whatever phase that they're in. So even if you were coming off condescending or whatever, sometimes people just need to be where they're at.
Absolutely, and I know that too. I've learned that as well, and it's something that I recognize is that I'm going to trust that wherever they're at, they will figure it out because really, that's their call.
They've made it through life this whole time. They will figure it out.
Exactly. Right? Or they won't. And either way, it's that's on them. It's not I don't even reword that. Either way, I wish them well. That's it. I'm too old to judge people. I try very hard not to. Right? So, because I learned again, everybody's different. So, and everybody has their own story to tell.
And hopefully they buy your book.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
No worries.
Well, we've been at this for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
I know. So did you have fun?
I've had fun. Yeah. Should I stop sharing?
You can stop. You can stop sharing. We can go back to just regular talk for a little bit and then wrap up. So you had a good time. How's it coming? By the way.
Oh, did you see that?
Well, your art looks great. I mean, your plans for world domination.
Oh, slowly but surely, dominating world. It's a little bit of that.
Like I said, you draw an excellent pirate ship. That goes without saying. I know that made you crack up when you said, like, what do you mean he sees a pirate? Oh my god, there's a pirate ship there.
That's the beauty. I I love doing art collaborations when I was younger. You know, just draw something, pass it to the next artist, let them draw on it, pass it to the next artist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, like I said, it's just like I said, coming to terms with who we are and who we aren't. And like I said, in your case, it seems like you're going down the path you want to go down, and that is awesome and amazing. And I hope for the best, like for you and for me. While I watch Canada slowly go.
the U.S. too.
You guys had your ethically crazy thing last year. You're right. You were ethically crazy last year. It's our turn right now. Like it's our turn. I'm watching what's going on here, and I'm like, well, and and,
This is
and,
what
and
it's like.
yeah. That's like it's like I'm watching this and I'm going. I actually did apply for a job in Hawaii. I should tell you what I actually did. It's a video game company working with voice narration, working with voice narratives. I actually am uniquely suited for a job like that. I could actually do it. It would require me to live in Hawaii. Oh no.
Oh no! How did you manage that?
Yeah, well, because honest to God, it's like let me be honest. There are places I would work for because they would truly be an experience worth it. That would be one of those situations where
Yeah,
that would be hard for me to walk away from. I think once I got ingratiated in there, I think I would eventually. Everything has its time and its place, but it'd be like, seriously, no, I got to work for video games. Like again, just one of those, like,
Hawaii.
yeah, in Hawaii. And you know what I'd be doing on my spare time? Like seriously, I would get in all kinds of trouble. I'd be surfing and probably hitting on women. Probably I shouldn't, but that's just that would be the trouble I'd be getting into probably half the time.
Eating mangoes from the tree.
Yeah. Oh, damn right. Damn right. Probably. Maybe live right by a tree. That'd be like my breakfast every morning. Like fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Fantastic, right? But I mean, but again, yeah, I think that maybe the final thing we'll do before we wrap this up is I think the most important thing most people go, why me? I'm going to flip that. Why not you?
Why not?
Exactly. So, I mean, and if they tell me no, meh. I mean, I'll move on to something else, and maybe another opportunity will come, and I'll end up in Hawaii anyway.
Hell yeah.
My sister actually said I would live vicariously through you, and I'd be coming to visit. It's like, of course you would, right?
Who wouldn't?
Yeah,
You'd be
exactly.
jealous.
Yeah, I'd be like, would you come? Would you leave? Probably not. You like I could be talked out of it, but it'd have to be like at that point, be like, what's it gonna take for you to come back? A lot. So what's a lot? Because it's like I'm doing this for nothing.
Be living in your backyard. I just want to make art.
Yeah.
I want to be like you.
Yeah. At that point, I think everybody knows. It's like, oh, can I come visit? It's like maybe. It's like, it's like, what do you mean? It's like I like you, but I don't know if I like you that much.
Are you gonna buy my book?
What?
Are you gonna buy my book?
Yeah. Well, no, it take a little more. Like as far I've talked to you quite a bit. I like you as a person. I don't know if I quite like you that much, but I have heard right. I don't know you that well yet. And maybe if I got to know you a little bit better, like again, I'm not saying never say never, right? But we've had 2 conversations.
Yeah, a whole 2 and some messaging on LinkedIn. Whatever.
That's it. It's not enough to give you like come visit me in Hawaii if I ever move there. Yeah.
Don't you worry. I'll be making my way everywhere.
Yeah, I know. And
we might cross paths.
It's almost oh, it's it's definitely possible. I'm definitely wandering and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. The next year or so is basically me taking what I already have and just keep doing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. That's like where I'm literally at now is it's the matter of time and in the meantime doing what you have to do, right, to put yourself in positions where you can keep doing your thing. Like I might like, and maybe I go back to school a little bit, maybe not, I don't know. Like I love learning, but I don't know if I want to be in the idea of being here longer than next summer, not this one but next one, doesn't appeal to me that much. So I might have what?
I feel the same way.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't appeal to me that much. So it's one of those things where it's like a year, maybe you could talk me into a year. I don't know if you can talk me. You could like a year and a little bit. You can talk me into that. Right? Beyond that, kind of like it's gonna have to take something really good for me to even think about it. Right? It's like otherwise, I already know this. Regardless of what the rules are, I'm gone. I'm gonna figure out a way. I'm gone. Right? It's just like
Video games in Hawaii gone.
Yeah, probably. Hawaii. I'm okay with San Diego. Like San Diego is something I'd be okay with. Like it's not. Look. My experience in San Diego was fantastic. I literally woke up to an Airbnb. I will go literally beside the Airbnb was a comic shop, and I was a block from the beach.
Dude, perfect.
Yeah, I was good. I was good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I would go back to that in a heartbeat. It's like that's a win. I couldn't live in LA because I couldn't do it. I know. I just know that LA would very shortly drive me to drink, and what I just know it. Right? It's too big. It's like I feel New York would be the same way. It's just too big, right? And also just driving in LA, just thinking about that is a nightmare.
Yeah, not enough comic shops and too much traffic.
Yes, exactly. Whereas like San Diego, that's nice. Northern California is underrated, I think, a little bit because but like the coast there is really cool. But yeah, for me it would be like I'd be like, well, if you could live anywhere in the United States, it would be San Diego, Phoenix, Vegas, Hawaii.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. I'd live like those. That's it. I would do all of those. Right. But beyond that, it's like, would you live anywhere else in the States? Like, no.
Not unless. No.
Yeah.
No,
it's just like,
not unless nothing.
No. Well, again, I could be talked into it. I mean, if there's enough of this, you can definitely get me there. But I wouldn't stay. Like I just like what happens if I get enough money? I'm gonna fail.
Know what you want. Know what the value of it is.
Exactly. So, and if you want me, it's guys take. And by the way, if anyone listening thinks we're sounding unreasonable or no, you gotta have your own expectations for how you want to live in this life. If you don't, you will never live it any way you want to. It's just the way it is.
What's unreasonable about knowing what you want? And then knowing the value of yourself. What's unreasonable about that?
It's not. But again, we were talking about this earlier. A lot of people don't know, or they take for granted what they do. Like I think like this is a very Canadian thing. Canadians by and large don't know their worth. It's my biggest one criticism. What?
The U.S. too.
You guys know more. I think there's more. It might be just population. Yeah, it could be just the population density there, but more of you know. Not all of you for sure, but more of you know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here, I've said this to many of my friends in Canada. Some of the most talented people on the planet are from this country. I say that with no false humility. That's the truth. But almost all of them undervalue just what they do, and it's incredible to me because you can literally see what they're capable of, and it's like, and your heart breaks just a touch when you see it. But you also recognize too it's worth. It's what that worth is, and what people are willing and not willing to do, and that is an art form. Like negotiation is a very lost art form. So
Yes, I agree. I
It's like
sign off.
I'm nodding my head, but that doesn't help. That doesn't help for listening.
No, I agree.
Yeah. So before we finally do the final negotiation, so you want to do this again next month?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Same day. Oh, let's push it off a week because I'm doing stuff this time next
Okay.
month.
So let's look at the May calendar here. Why don't we let's make this kind of. Would you be willing to do May 22nd?
I am just getting back from traveling at that point. So what about May 29th?
Done.
Yeah?
Yeah, we can do May 29th.
Cool. Sounds good.
I have saved this onto the doc. We are officially on the docket. So,
Hey.
that's right. So, and by next month, we will hopefully I will be in a different location actually. So I mean I'm in a so in light of the fact that I'm building up money and stuff like that, and this house I'm staying at, I've house sat. It's gone a little longer due to the pandemic craze.
Yeah.
But at some point soon, it's going to get sold, and when it does, I'm not right. So I'm going to another place for the short term, and while I do that, and slowly reaccrue some assets and figure out how I'm going to be playing with Facebook ads and stuff like that and other things. She's like, yes, and there's like that evil Miss
We
Burns.
must talk more about that.
We will talk more about that. Actually, what I should probably do, if you do have some spare time, I don't know if I should do this on the air, because if you tell me no, I won't. There's no pressure. Just if you don't have time, you don't have time. Would you like to beta read a novel?
Pay to read a novel?
No, have you ever heard?
Oh, beta read. Beta read.
Yeah.
You can send it my way, and I will read it as I have time, but no guarantee on a quick turnaround time.
Okay, no, that's fair. That's fair.
That's what I tell people, and that's about as much as I can guarantee.
Hey, listen, that's I told you, at least you're honest, right? Honesty is good. So, if you really want to, I've been getting nice feedback on it so far. All in all, it's been going kind of the direction I want. It's the one I'm going to be drawing. So I think you of all people, I think go. This is going to be interesting to see what he's come up with. So
yeah.
So and then maybe in like say a month or two, I go to you. It's like I may not go to you as an illustrator. I might go, Shani, would you let's talk sales consultation, because I somehow feel you'd be okay getting paid for your advice. Somehow I feel
I do offer business consultation.
Yeah. So
yep.
I get the feeling we might have a conversation then and there. But until then, and until next month, you are the art bard, Shani O. How can people find you?
Y'all can find me at theartbard.com or on LinkedIn, where I'm very active at Shani O on LinkedIn. Instagram, Shani the Art Bard. Facebook, the Art Bard. Soto, Shani O. Soto. Anyways, and those are my main ones. But just go on over to theartbard.com and you can reach me there, or Gmail, theartbard@gmail.
Yeah, I'm just putting this up here at theartbard.com. That's right.
That's me. I've been revamping it, so it's looking nice. A little bit, but it's getting there.
I'm looking forward to playing. I'm looking forward to playing in that game myself, because I do have this thing decided to. There you go. Done.
That's me.
That's you. It's like we've done this before, or something to that effect. But for anyone else listening to this is probably going to be 2 episodes, because we went even longer than we did last time.
We could have seen that one coming.
Yeah, I saw that. So for everybody else listening and watching, listen, this has been a great time, and I'm glad you came. Check out the link here. Like I said, the Aurora is closed tonight. If you guys want to nominate my stuff, you can do so. Right? It's definitely a thing. If you want to buy my stuff, I'm on Amazon. You can find my links there. Go to my webpage, jpendler@wordpress.com. If you want to support my channels, hit the follow button on Twitch. I have hit the followers requirement for affiliate, but now we just gotta get people to come on in more regular basis. Maybe I gotta do it like a hardcore marketing campaign. Dun 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 dun.
You can do it.
That point because I'm almost at affiliate. And once in there, that's revenue streams, and revenue streams are beautiful things. But
we want revenue.
Yeah, that's right. Revenue's great. But for everybody else, YouTube channels, Joshua Pintoresco, click like and subscribe. I'm going to be updating the page as YouTube has apparently changed their whole process now. So I gotta go in and tweak it. And so it used to be like their videos would just be all there for everybody to display, but now it's like almost you can do they let you do a profile page in the last month. So I got to actually work on and do that now.
Right on.
And beyond all that, stay inspired, keep shining in the dark, keep doing you, whatever that is. And I'll see you guys Monday, as I got a really cool guest from our Romance Writers Association. So,
ooh,
take care, and I'll see you guys Monday.
Thanks for watching, y'all.
Welcome.